Dude, this is what I mean by he just came on and started doing propaganda, basically. Yeah, getting history knowledge from NuxTaku, that's, that'd be really helpful for people. No, he's not. So Nux is just completely wrong or lying here. That's literally not true. The good thing is that Asmongold has made it so there is literally no barrier for entry to political content. There's no barrier anymore. You can literally just talk about whatever you want. No one's asking you to read a book. No one's asking you to read a book. Literally no one expects you to read books. Open Wikipedia, that's it. It's not... They give it to them because they're just so kind. They give it to them. They control the area and they shut those services off to coerce the population and military. Dude, that's so nice of them. That they're in a war and they still let the civilians have water. Alright, guys. So, last night, Acheeto, commentary YouTuber with about 500,000 subs, spoke to NuxTaku, VTuber with like, I don't know, ridiculous amount of subs, like millions of subs. Totally undeserved loser. Obviously, I've spoken about NuxTaku plenty before, okay? We've at length dissected NuxTaku's political content, his lolly content, all sorts of stuff about NuxTaku. So, seeing this crazy opportunity to listen to NuxTaku talk about politics with someone live, I was amazed. I couldn't believe it. And so I jumped into chat and I started basically fact-checking Nux from chat and getting Acheeto to press a little bit. And now I need to watch everything that happened before I came into chat because DVR was turned off because Aiden was A-logging Acheeto. So we're going to watch from the start of the Nux conversation, put the mask on. So true. So true. I'll do that in a moment. We're going to watch from the start of the conversation, but basically, Nux came on to have a talk about Israel. To defend Israel. Okay? He was out here defending Israel hard. Like his life depended on it. Like his people depended on it. If he was better at it, I think he was paid. Fortunately, it was pretty shameful. So we're going to take a look at this. Hopefully it's funny. It's definitely funny towards the end. I saw that bit. But yeah.
He's online. He's online.
Let me put my Nux mask on. Yo, thank you for the raid, Malcolm. Welcome in, Malcolm Raiders.
Did not as... It's a W cameo. I need to ask him. I actually need to ask him or else I'll get in trouble. I'm actually getting in trouble. Okay. Did I talk about the new Pope? Yeah, I did. But this is important that we get
1.5 until we get to the...
I need to get permission for this.
Discussion now.
Because if anyone... Because if he doesn't give me permission, then I won't do it. But the thing is, like, I need to make sure that I'm not like offending his culture or anything. It's worth the risk. Here's the thing, bro. Is just like if I'm gonna talk to him, right, and he's gonna say no, then I won't do it. But he knows the new Kanye song. And the thing is, like, if people want to cancel me for it, I got permission from a Jewish person, right? You give me permission as a Jew, but NuxTaku is actually Jewish.
I'm saying
right?
how this. Okay, I'm saying how this started. So, if Nux is about to give Acheeto permission, like, say, I'm a Jew and. Hey man, how's Nux? Hey man, it's just memes, man. Hey man, it's fine for you to play the Hitler song. Yeah, Cheeto, play the Hitler song. That's awesome. If that's how NuxTaku's gonna, yeah, it's just memes, man. The Hitler song's just memes. If that's how this is gonna start, if that's how this is gonna start, then I find it very interesting that Nux bemoans the anti-Semitism of Hassan. It's fucking absurd. If he is crying that Hassan is an anti-Semite based on his criticism of Israel and pseudo support of Hamas and outright support of the Houthis, then it's fucking crazy that he's saying that actually the Hitler song is based. You're a complete retard. This is like normalizing anti-Semitism on like an insane level, like the most blatant anti-Semitism. I think the song bangs. You know, I'm a bit of a J boy myself, and I think the song bangs. But if you're gonna cry about anti-Semitism, then I mean, there's two options here, and one of them seems far more obvious than the other. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's see how this goes.
So this actually matters, you know? Why do you need his consent, bro? You got a Jewish person in chat right now? Well, they could be a Jewish person, right? And that's like, you know, that's fair. And I'm not taking that away from them. Like, they are Jewish, but they're not as Jewish. Okay. NuxTaku, you're on the stream. You're on the air. Okay, so basically, I need your permission for something, to be honest with you, bro.
Okay.
So, Kanye West.
He wants to sing the Hail Hitler song. I knew it was happening. I knew it was coming.
I do. I actually do. I don't want to sing.
I think you should go for it, but that means you have to cover all of it.
No.
I don't want to see any pussy moves. Oh, I'm gonna sing the Hail Hitler part.
You see, anti-Semitism's cool when right-wing people do it, but bad when left-wing people even come anywhere close that could be construed as it. I understand, Nux. I see.
The self-censor at the
end. This makes total sense.
No. Whip it out there. You know, pop it out. Come on.
How did you know that's what I wanted to do? Did you watch the stream?
Nope.
No, Nux is fine with it from right.
You're reading chat.
It's not even about right and left. That's even a misnomer. That's me being retarded in my analysis. That's very like your analysis. If you're an anti-Semite, but you support or will allow Israel to do whatever it needs to do, that's fine. If you're an anti-Semite, or even come close to being an anti-Semite, or could even be construed as anti-Semite, but you oppose Israel, that's a problem. That's when it becomes a real problem.
You're reading chat. Okay, what if I don't say any of it, but it just plays while I'm drinking?
Can I tell you the honest truth about the Hail Hitler song?
Yeah, sure.
Hitler wanted 1,000-year-long Aryan race with white skin and blue eyes, and a black edgelord wrote a Hail Hitler song.
Dude,
Hitler's #1 supporters in 2025 is
just edgelording, guys.
Edgelord.
It's just edgelording, guys. Didn't Nox virtue signal and hand ring about the fucking sword in the iDubbbz video? I swear we watched that.
A gay Mexican and a couple of freaks on Twitter. It is a great time to hate Hitler.
Look at my stream. Look at my stream. I have a tweet here. It says, "Mein Führer, in 2025 they will sing songs about you. Wunderbar. Who will sing them? A mentally ill, degenerate American loads Luger pistol and places it to his temple."
Damn, that's crazy. No, I think this is very funny. This whole thing is hilarious.
But it is so catchy, you can't lie.
Okay, I can't listen to Nux do small talk.
No, I mean,
it's
really hilarious.
That's kind of what you get, bro. Is like, I mean, like the reality is, like, I'll take this over, like, you can't, like, I'll take this and you being like fully monetized, making videos where you have the N-word censored in your title and thumbnail, versus like you can't have Kanye doing this and you can't do that. You know, it's like you have to take some of it. Like that's the price you kind of pay for like the culture shifting in the edgiest way. Like I don't like, you know, like we both
look, we're in America, goddammit. This is America. Freedom of speech.
Why are they literally laughing out loud at mid-posts? Babka is finally understanding how we look at normies. That's how when someone looks at like the way women in women communities operate online, this is what they're feeling, Babka. I hope you can learn some empathy from that.
She's king here.
Yeah, you and I are reaping rewards from this, right? Ideally, like,
true.
Like the culture where people are less sensitive is good for our wallets. So it's like we can't pick and choose what edginess is or like what kind of shit. You get what I'm saying?
It's my friends make me watch Kill Tony clips. That's so true, dude. And they're like, Cam Patterson comes out and they're laughing their fucking up, and you're just like, okay. All right, man.
Society, I think, as a whole. Like, in general, obviously, yes, wallet's very important. You got me. Jew, you got me. But, so yeah, wallet's important. However, I do think
I fucking hate you.
Not because you're a Jew. I didn't mean it. Okay, that's not what I... that's not what I meant. I love money. I love money, too. I mean, maybe...
Dude, Theo Von, that's real as fuck. Theo Von is real. That's real as fuck. Absolutely, that is the exact reaction. Anytime, dude, no. To be fair, Cam Patterson is even the worst one on Kill Tony. Who's the Eastern European guy? Anyone laughing at Eastern European guy, it reflects so poorly on you. Seriously. Ari Matty, that's it. That's it. It reflects so poorly if you're laughing at that. It's like the most unfathomably mid comedy of all time. It's just like it's just the repeat is the same shtick again and again. It's the in Soviet Russia, arms bear you or whatever, you know, like it's that. It's like that. Again and again. It's so unfunny. Who's your favorite comedian? Stuart Lee. Show him a clip of real comedy. Which clip? What clip is real comedy? I don't even know. I can't play much Stuart Lee because it gets copyright claimed. Ang Lee. Dog? Dude, that's awesome. Gif of Diorio eating cake. Oh my god. Sargon did a video at Stuart Lee. No way.
Hello, people.
Shut up, Cataclysm. What? These days, if you say you're a comedian. That is the... dude, I wish I could just play Stuart Lee right now. These days, if you say you're English, you'll be arrested and thrown in jail. Just for saying you're English. Just for saying you're English, you'll be arrested, thrown in jail. God. Okay, anyway, let's get back to this. I'm getting distracted.
Maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm more Jewish in that regard. I don't know.
Fair.
But like, either way, that's not what I meant. Sorry, continue. It's just okay. Quit
the imaginary black wife. Oh my god.
Okay.
James Acheeto sucks. Fuck James Acheeto.
I want to hear him speak now.
Like,
he's in the call. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy. He's very elusive. You know, he's doing big collaborations. He's on Bald Tectone stream for like 3 hours, and I'm over here. I'm supporting this guy in the shadows. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to get on stream? And he's like, oh, I'm sick. I can't do it. And eventually, I do get on stream. It's like
I literally had food poisoning. You don't want to know what my bathroom looked like, you know, or a little bit earlier.
Wait,
it was a nightmare. I told you I got food poisoning. My bathroom looked like Auschwitz.
Was it?
Dude, like, what? What does that even mean? Dude, what?
Ooh.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.
Oof. What, did you eat too many Nux tacos?
I guess so. I guess so.
What'd you eat?
I don't even know. I don't even know what did it. That's the worst part.
You know Nox fat as hell.
But anyway, on to more important things. Did you see the Pierce Morgan and
Kuihman's favorite comedian, Stuart Lee, some Chinese motivational speaker who's won 87 counts of homosexuality and Sichuan prof is very good.
debate.
Okay, hold on. Are you leaving in like 5 minutes, or do I actually get you for some stream content?
I think I actually have to leave in like 5 minutes.
Fuck off, this guy, bro.
He doesn't leave in 5 minutes.
Ugh, what if I paid you? I know you.
Nah, it's okay. Appreciate it. Oh, whoa, dangling $1.
You did not post Nux's face, dogs. Shut up.
Basically, I want you to imagine the crisp one. The crisp. No, stop. When are you free? Because we actually have to do. Because there's some stuff I wanted when you went over the UN report over like the October.
Look, I just said I deleted that message because it just looks bad optically. This is what Deep Rama was saying. He's saying this is Nox's face, dogs.
back. I wanted you to go over that because Hassan was like denying a lot of the stuff in there, and I'll take any chance I can get to shit on this guy for everything he's done. Because the thing with Hassan, where every time he gets called out for something, people shit on it, right? And so what ends up happening is like the ones that are actually like really fucking egregious offensives against his like image and career kind of get drowned out because every week something new happens and people brush over it. And so I think what you actually had there was somewhat interesting and actually worth talking about and highlighting and really like honing in on, because that's like everyone kind of gets caught up in like content cop, Ethan Klein, all of these things, whereas like necessarily the actual political stuff that he's known for can get overlooked. And I think you're doing the opposite. I think you're looking into it, and I actually wanted to look into it. So if you're not like, busy, or whatever.
Listen, I am busy, but this is for Hassan content, so I am here. How long do you need?
Oh boy, someone talking bad about Israel? How much time do you need?
How long do you need?
Wait. Actually,
if it's to shit on Hassan, yeah, I'll do it.
Let's fucking go! Content!
Okay, Acheeto. Alright, man. Aiden wants the VOD. I will send you the VOD, but never say I don't do anything for you after I literally got you on stream earlier to have that talk and everything. So
content! Let's get some W's in the chat for fucking NuxTaku, who, even though he's sick with massive diarrhea and giardia that he got from Ethan Klein, he still shows up when it matters most. That is a team player. W's in the motherfucking chat. That's the only VTuber who's not a fucking F slur. You know what I'm saying? A lot of VTubers act like F slurs. And I'm just going to say it, bro. Like, what's going on with that? A bunch of people who are just, they enhance their breasts.
Dude, well, this is just getting better and better. The audio situation is just getting better and better.
Oh, this person's graduating. What does that even mean? Who are you? What are you graduating from? Fucking Fry Cook University? Go flip some burgers, dumbass. Anyway.
True. Zero breast, son.
Go flip some burgers. Okay, Steve.
How much time do I got? I got all the time in the world, bruh.
I got all the time in the world. Okay,
so yeah. Oh, fuck. Wait, did I break my... No, did I break my mic? My streaming... Wait, did I break my mic? No, did I break my mic? Oh my god! It's fine now.
Okay, wow.
Wait, hello?
Wow, I'm gonna keep skipping.
Had done something and she didn't actually do the thing, right? And I got that wrong. I think that's infinitely more okay than getting like a terrorist instance wrong in front of 40,000 people. And so I also think when you are influencing the way people vote and the way people are, by extension, being treated and being given rights, that matters a fuckload. So please tell us the Hassan disinformation stuff.
Right.
I would love to get into it.
All right. So to be real, Hassan, he doesn't do misinformation by accident and just kind of let it slide, make mistakes like you did with your Sniper Wolf thing. He
got you.
In my opinion, he will make misinformation campaigns done on purpose.
Thank you for the $4.99, Lumpy Willy. Wait, Acheeto is glazing. A known PDF. I actually fuck with this guy heavy. Hashtag PDFs stand with Acheeto. I disavow that message in its like every element of that message. I disavow pretty much. But thank you for sending the donation. Also, I'm unmuting my alerts because I had them muted.
I am starting to see why.
I'm gonna skip through these.
This does count. Why shouldn't Ethan
Just skip through these.
just popping in to say I don't?
Right, we already read them, so.
Kuihman's fave comedian is Stu.
Okay, we read that one. And the Lumpy Willy one wasn't read. Okay, cool.
Because he unironically wants to spread propaganda.
Okay, hold on. If you're gonna commit to this, do you want to like put your VTuber model up and then we can do that, or are you on your phone or something?
I'll put it up.
Okay, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Let's go. Okay,
guys, we're getting the Nux model.
Let's go.
Nux appearance.
We got some content.
I read the dono. Retard. Wind the stream back, Aiden. Pay attention.
I really appreciate you doing this, by the way.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna have a swing of some.
Let's see if I get
Pinot
this.
Noir.
He's working.
Hey, there he is. Yeah, it is.
He-
Okay. All right, let me I'll full screen this. Okay, chat, give me 1 second. Yes. Boom.
Pulling straight from the bottle beast mode. Cool guy move.
Who's TBYS?
Think before you sleep.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of his videos.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to deactivate.
Dude, there's a moment in one of Think Before You Sleep's videos where basically he says that Noah Sampson deliberately picked a picture of Ethan Klein where it looks like he's doing a Nazi salute for his thumbnail to try and paint Ethan Klein as a Nazi. But the picture Noah Sampson uses is it's the exact same picture of Ethan Klein that's on the Content Uke thumbnail that Ethan himself picked. And Think Before You Sleep accused him of maliciously picking an image to paint him as a Nazi.
Alright, cool.
Hey guys, it's me Kuihman. I actually agree with the Dono, but my mom is sleeping in the next room and I don't want her to hear me saying PDF file the day before Shoppers. Hashtag PDF stand with Acheeto.
Thank you for the $4.20. Thank you.
Alright, so wow, I'm getting flustered just being here. Well, wow, you're just so crispy. Is that like 4K? Your
I don't
YouTuber
know.
model?
Blue guy. I don't know. He does what he does, I guess.
Wow. Okay. It's actually getting chills. Okay, so when it comes to Hassan, you've made probably over 20 videos about him, right? And I don't think they're unwarranted.
Probably.
Usually when people make videos about someone, I think at a certain point you're just dragging it, like you're just trying to find stuff to say to rehash success and just.
Nox would never do that.
But I think with Hassan, I think when there's specifically ongoing geopolitical issues that are evolving, that you actually do deserve ongoing videos that can range, you know, on the 21st episode, I'm not going to be like, all right, bro's dragging it. It's like, no, actually, he's responding to the proportionate amount of disinformation and BS that's being spread by the largest left-wing political streamer on Twitch. So,
on the planet. But I would go as far as to say that every single one of my videos, I think individually, is pretty much damning enough to end the career of an average guy.
Right.
This is just like totally absurd and retarded. This never happens online. It just isn't the case. Like, who goes down off of one video talking shit about them? You're a retard. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, or you're lying.
Like, I know it seems like, oh, I can't believe he made 20 videos on this guy, but I feel like each one.
Nox has videos where he's literally cheering on the idea of doxing and harassing Home Depot employees at their workplace because they made jokes about Trump being shot. Nox has videos where he full-throatedly argues for that. There are so many... Nox has said so much insane shit that is like... It could easily be compared to Hassan. He cheers on some absolutely insane shit at times as well. Like, he's totally fine. It seems like from everything I've seen, he's totally fine with all the deportations over speech and stuff. So the idea that Hassan has done so much it would end the average person's career, no, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Individually is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Any content creator with a significant fan base, it's very hard to take down. It doesn't really happen with just like saying, oh, this is a really bad guy. Those bad things I've said. They know they've said those things. They don't care.
Crazy, yeah. So,
usually why they
when
like
you're
them.
dealing with straight up propaganda and lies and terrorist support daily on the stream. A lot of it is not super easy to see right away. A lot of it is really easy. Like, you know, when he goes 10 tones down, I support Houthi terrorists.
No. Nox claims, he claims being American, being Canadian, and being Israeli. Okay? He claims all three at various points. He will use all of them.
Houthi terrorists, you know, caused the deaths of 377,000 people in Yemen. Like, they're not good people.
Wow, I didn't know that. That many?
Yeah, Houthi.
Wow.
Well, they didn't directly kill them, but they caused a lot of these deaths. They contributed to them because Basically, Yemen is one of the poorest countries in the world. The Houthis kind of took over the government a little bit. They killed a lot of political leaders.
Just very limited explanation what happened here.
Humanitarian aid and the food that they use for themselves and that they use to make.
The mention of the famine
that caused a massive humanitarian crisis in Yemen.
That's
they also
crazy.
directly killed lots of. Yeah, they're horrible. Yeah, they're horrible people.
Right.
So when he says he supports the terrorists, because at least the terrorists are bombing Israel, and it's like, they're bombing civilians.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure basically what he just did there was completely place the responsibility on the Houthis for the famine that was put on the country by the Saudis. He just attributed all responsibility for an insane amount of death that was placed on that country by another country. And saying it's the fault of this radical group in this country that this other country starved their people. No, it's the fault of the people who are starving them, actually.
B, they're bombing American ships. C, they're kidnapping Filipino sailors randomly. And D, they're torturing their own people. Right. Only 6% of the people in Yemen like the Houthis. The other 94% of people are being oppressed.
So is it kind of like the cartel, would you say? Like in Mexico in terms of like how the public looks at it? Because
it's just like absolutely no understanding of Yemen.
But they can't vote out the cartel.
I suppose it's similar to that. The major difference is, as opposed to the cartel, whose main purpose is making crazy amounts of money, from what I understand, the Houthis are fighting like a extremist religious war.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. That makes sense.
You know, they throw gay people off buildings and shit.
Dude, it just immediately jumped to the most retarded stereotype of they throw gay people off buildings.
Okay.
Dude, this is what I mean by he just came on and started doing propaganda, basically. It's literally just immediately jumped to the most retarded, like radical Islam stereotype.
Why are we watching the love child of Tim Pool and Joe Rogan talk to NuxTaku?
Spinal, show me one case of the Houthis throwing a gay person off of the building. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I've just simply never been shown that the Houthis throw people off of buildings. I've never been shown that at any point. I've got no reason to believe that specific terrorist group uses that specific method. Unless someone shows that to me. And Nux doesn't either. Nux has no clue what the Houthis do. He has absolutely no idea. He is just picking the trope. He is picking the most extreme thing that is evocative, that refers to like a couple of videos that went round in the 2010s. It's not very reasonable. How many people do you think get thrown off of buildings for being gay, Spinal? Every year in the Middle East. How many people do you think get thrown off a building for being gay? It's got to be at least 1 million. It's just like, I don't even think it's a very common way of killing someone. I don't think it's very common. It was, yeah, like people say, it happened in Chechnya and shit, and there was some videos, especially in the 2010s, that went around on social media of it happening. But I don't believe it's actually a very common method of killing people. It's just a trope that people rely on to fearmonger, basically.
So then when Hassan basically, so the kid that he had on his stream that everyone has seen by now, the he's Yemeni pirate, right? That's what he is?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So this kid who he glazed and said was akin to Luffy, which is insane, is basically part of the group of people that is doing all...
Yeah, but Jembali, you can't bring up that Saudis behead people for doing drugs relatively commonly because these people like Saudi Arabia and they think people should be beheaded for doing drugs.
All of these things actively. Like, this isn't like, oh, you know, this happened and in the past, like this group, like he... Like, if you call someone a Nazi now, they're not part of the Nazi group that's doing gassings, right? But with him, he's part of the group that is actively doing shit, yeah?
So currently, Hassan is denying that as he calls him, Yemeni teenager is actually part of the Houthis directly. However, that Yemeni teenager did himself say that he is a soldier for the Houthis. He said that himself.
He didn't say he was a soldier for the Houthis. That's not true. He responded to questions asking if he was a soldier. But he's always said he's not part of the Houthis. He's always said he stands with the Houthis, but he's not a Houthi.
So again, you could believe him
So
or not.
Nux is just straight up. He's lying about the quote here to try and force through a talking point that isn't fully substantiated.
So that's one thing he said.
Well,
another thing that he has done is he was hanging out with the prisoners that were kidnapped by Houthis.
Okay, pause right there.
That's also not substantiated. Literally not substantiated at all.
I want you to reiterate that point after I say what I think about what you just first said, right? I think when like Hassan actually has something to lose, right? So he will deny that who the person that he platformed, he'll deny that that person is as bad as people are saying, right?
I was
Whereas
just
the
in
kid
chat
will
spelling
not,
mirror.
because he has nothing to lose and he takes pride in it.
It's
I think
later
there's
on.
the big
I mean,
difference.
the kid posted like if you'd see what that okay, we're calling him a kid. He's a 19-year-old. He's not really a kid. Hassan calls him a kid, which could be accurate because the Houthis use child slave soldiers. Yeah, not very good people.
Source.
Right.
But this
Again, not saying it's not happening. Just would like to see a source on that. I don't believe Nux saying that whatsoever. I noticed. I watched Dickers going over the Hassan Ethan debate. Dickers started fact-checking the idea that the Houthis had slaves in Yemen. And Dickers came to the conclusion that they did, but he was totally not reading the page. The page that I've seen spread around is that there are a bunch of slaves in Yemen. I don't know whose slaves. I haven't seen a thing that says, with good evidence, showing me it clearly, whose slaves they are. There are people living in slavery. But I don't know, I don't know who the slaves are. So, I haven't actually seen that substantiated fully. Yeah, and both sides say, one side's going to say it was Saudi Arabia, one side's going to say it's the Houthis. I don't know. I'm not making a firm statement on that. But that's me. I don't make firm statements on things I don't know about. Nux, on the other hand, without any information, will make a firm statement simply because it benefits him, which is just lying.
It's like saying Austrian painter, exactly. So this kid was hanging out with the Filipino hostages that were captured by Houthis. Like, so I don't know how he got to those people, but he probably had something to do with the Houthi movement.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so then you were saying that he had something to do with taking people prisoner. So he took people prisoner?
So the Houthis
No.
are a hipster pirate group that bombs ships and kidnaps whoever they can, basically. They say that they're doing it to fight for Palestine. They are not actually fighting for anything because they are just...
Okay, so, again, I understand we want to say Houthis bad, Houthis bad. Houthis are bad. Now, when someone says this, they're not doing it to fight for Palestine. They did actually release the hostages when Israel agreed to a ceasefire. So, I mean, I need to hear a more substantive argument that there's no connection to the stuff in Palestine. I need a more substantive argument about that.
Just bombing civilians. There was a ship going, I believe, from India to Turkey.
Are they bombing civilians in Israel?
Yeah, they do basically daily. They stopped because they got bombed back. But they'll probably start up again soon. I
mean, just to play devil's advocate, wouldn't that make sense then for them to say that they're doing it for Palestine if it's against Israel?
Yeah, they stopped during the ceasefire or whatever. So
the way I see it, if you are doing something, then that thing that you do should probably result in something. I'll ask you a hypothetical.
Yeah.
The Hamas terrorists that started the entire war that currently, resulted in
right, which was October 7th, right?
October 7th.
Yeah.
Would you say that Hamas did good for Palestine when they did that?
I think they did. I wouldn't say they did. No.
I don't think they did. I think they wanted to kill Jews because that's what they said. They said themselves that they're doing it to kill Jews.
Is that true?
Yep.
Okay,
they said that. That is literally what the Hamas terrorists say. That's what the charter says. That's what they said.
The Hamas charter every time, man. Every time. Holy fuck.
They knew that it didn't help Palestine or Gaza or anything like that because Israel hit.
It's like, well, you see, this specific event in in current year actually happened because of a charter that was made like decades ago. It's like so stupid. It's like such a low IQ engagement. No, obviously there's more complex geopolitical interactions that have happened in those decades. You fucking retard.
Back, and realistically, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
you think if they actually cared that they wouldn't have done it in the first place because they knew that they would have the consequences to face?
Well, first of all, yes. Second of all, bro, I don't think you realize how bad it is. In Gaza, the Palestinian civilians
I don't. I actually don't.
The Palestinian civilians in Gaza were protesting Hamas. They said, because something you have to realize, Israel said from the beginning, if Hamas surrenders and gives up the hostages, the war's over. There are still currently hostages.
Hostages from
Hamas
October 7th?
From October 7th.
Still?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's still like 50 left that they're holding. Yeah. So
just for leverage?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Interesting.
So but anywho, so that is more or less
this is the page about slavery. Not this US Department of State thing. Where is it? They have a number in there somewhere. I think it's 85,000 something. Media reports referencing Mohammedan activists noted that while societal caste and slavery were abolished in the 1960s, tribal justice systems reinforced historical patterns of discrimination. The most recent estimated number of victims of modern slavery in country remained the 2018 report by Walk Free, an NGO focused on ending modern slavery. Walk Free estimated there were 85,000 victims of modern slavery in the country, or 3.1% of the population. That's where that was coming from. So I don't know if does it say anything about Houthis in here? Where's let's go back to that last bit. During this year, the Houthis reportedly targeted Mohammedan communities to recruit fighters. In July, the Houthis killed 4 Mohammedan and injured another in Amran province after they refused to join Houthi fighters on the front lines. So yeah, it sounds like the US State Department do accuse the Houthis of having slaves, or of like forcing people to fight and shit like that. I don't know where these claims are sourced from. I don't know how much further this goes, but I mean, for the purposes of most people's engagement with politics, this is, you know, there's good evidence to probably suspect these of having slaves, at least. And there's a problem with it in Yemen, so it just doesn't seem particularly out far of the reasonable scope.
The argument. They said if you would have given back the hostages and surrendered, the war would stop. Mm-hmm. Now, the Palestinians in Gaza protested Hamas because Gaza got whacked pretty hard. So they were protesting Hamas. Do you know what Hamas's response was to the Palestinian people that they were fighting to, quote unquote, liberate? You know what they did?
What did they do?
They murdered the leaders of the protest, and they dropped the bodies of those on the doorstep of their families as a warning not to protest against Hamas.
In Palestine?
In Gaza.
So but it was like the people that they're claiming to defend?
That's kind of what I'm saying. They're only claiming to defend them as far as like clout goes. They're monsters. They murdered the Palestinian protesters. They are a power hungry, sycophantic.
So even though they're claiming to represent them,
a power hungry, sycophantic terrorist group. I wonder if there's any other maybe parties that could be characterized that way.
If the people that they hurt basically said, we don't want you to represent us, they killed them. Yeah?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's disturbing.
Yeah, and Hassan supports these guys. He claims he supports, Palestine, but he supports Hamas, the terrorists that
I mean, and that I know. I mean, he's not.
But what reason does I think that he supports Hamas and not Palestine? I think it's ridiculous to think Hassan supports Hamas over Palestine. No, I think he you could argue that his presentation favors them in some way. Like, his presentation softens the image of Hamas in some way, and that allows them to gain power in, like, other countries. Some shit like that. You can make some argument there. But I don't think his priority is Hamas over the Palestinian people. I think that's insane to suggest.
Coy about it. I mean, he's very open and abrasive when he says that he supports it. And look, I mean...
He doesn't say he supports Hamas. He's never said he supports Hamas. He says he supports the Houthis in the blockade. He does not say he supports Hamas.
What it's worth, I don't, I'm never going to fault him for being elusive about his own beliefs or hiding what his true beliefs are, because I think he is pretty honest about it. Like, he has said, I support, the Houthis, I support Hamas. And then there's the clip of the black, what's that guy's name? The one, he's like half black streamer, NMP Lowell, when he's with him, and he basically says, are these guys like terrorists? And then he's like, America calls them terrorists, and if you want to call them that, then yeah.
So actually, that was referring to Hezbollah, not Hamas.
Okay.
So Hezbollah is okay. So imagine this: Israel is a really tiny plot of land, surrounded by a lot of Arab states. Directly at the bottom of Israel, there's Gaza at the south, and okay, so I feel like I got to do a little history lesson.
No, I mean, and this will be good for people who don't know, who are not fully aware of it, right?
Yeah, getting history knowledge from NuxTaku, that's that'd be really helpful for people.
Politics now. Well, I think what's sorry, I just want to explain this. I think that commentary, when we look at like the 2016 cringe culture stuff, that was like innocent, someone like Pokemon Go kid is cringe. Okay, 10 million views. I think we've since called that stuff very lowbrow, and so we have to justify making content where we shit on others, and the justification that's used now has been deemed by the public as justifiable, which is that people have like audacious political views, and that's just what it is. And I think it is a good justification. I think if you look at someone and you look at their political views and how they use these views to connect with people, you can shit on them. I think that's fair, I mean, it does suck from like an entertainment perspective that, commentary is politics now, but at the same time, like, the world is politics. If you look at the polarization, it's never been higher, man. So it's the stuff that people actually care about the most.
You may not like it, but Acheeto still consents.
I also kind of feel like if you're trying to...
Hassan's argument for this is very simple. 1. People have the right to self-determination and defense. 2. Hamas is who Gaza's got. Not ideal, but 1 and 2 are still true with less than ideal parties.
I agree. I agree with that characterization. Thank you for the $10, Jimbley. That is pretty accurate, I think.
Do drama content and you want to criticize a streamer, you kind of have to know what the streamer is talking about and all the lies the streamer propagates.
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So Gaza, for example, it was so in 1967 there was a war called the 6-Day War. It was where 5 countries around Israel, 5 Arab countries attacked Israel. Basically, Israel pushed them back. They ended up winning the war. They ended up pushing them like south deep into Egypt. They gave that land back except for Gaza, which Israel kept at the time. So at that time, there was mixed ethnicities in Gaza. Essentially, there was a small minority of Jewish people living in Gaza. Your stream just went black.
Yeah, I was changing my camera, sorry.
Oh, okay. And in around 2005, they decided, you know what, we're going to be giving Gaza to the Palestinians as a place for them. All the Jews were told to leave Gaza. They pulled them out, and they said, we're going to give this spot as a peace treaty. And they made a deal with them that you'll keep Gaza, and we will we'll be homies, we'll be besties. As far as 3,000 years of beef goes, they were not homies and besties. Since in 2005, they actually elected Hamas. Hamas was originally elected by Gaza. Hamas became a radical terrorist group that since 2005 fired around 11,000 missiles into civilian cities in Israel. And it culminated in this October.
When he says that they gave him a set, that's still fully under Israeli control, though, isn't it? Like, all their utilities and shit were all... From that time, they were all under Israeli control. It wasn't actually like, hey guys, here's your state, guys, have fun. Here's your self-determination, enjoy. It wasn't like that. It's we don't want to deal with this anymore, but we're still gonna keep it under our boot, basically. Yeah, they couldn't control it. It was more the UN ruled that Gaza was still. Well, yeah, obviously the occupation hasn't ended. They were still under Israel's boot, basically. Yeah, I mean, Nux is just doing straight propaganda here, obviously.
2023 war that they jumped over the wall, they attacked Israel, and they killed like 1,200 civilians.
You'll hear later on. This sort of comes up
the-
again. It's very funny what he says.
This is
It's
while
hilarious.
they're in
cannot
charge of the
take it down.
government, right?
They're in charge of the government.
Okay. And so what I'm trying to understand is that wouldn't there be some benefit for like regime change, like ASAP, right?
They don't want regime change.
Right. Well, obviously they're not a democracy.
Just do some regime
but, like,
change.
Not anymore.
That goes
They were
well.
elected in 2005, and they basically controlled the area since then. Anyone that's okay, so let me tell you something. The guy that orchestrated
Are they
October
democracy?
7th
I'm talking about an ass. I don't know if they're democracy. I assume not.
Yeah, no, not right now, for sure.
Okay.
So the guy that orchestrated October 7th was a terrorist named Yahya Sinwar. He's dead. May he rot in hell. So that guy, insanely enough, was known as the Butcher of Khan Yunis because apparently he murdered any Palestinian voice that went up against him. Like he was a real monster. That guy.
Okay.
Like he killed anyone that he didn't like.
Right. Okay.
So that's Gaza and Hamas.
Yeah, I don't know how
Now,
true any of
in
that is.
Israel-
I'm sure, Sinwar did some fucked shit, but I don't know how true it is that he killed literally any opposition. I actually don't know the truth of that statement. I wouldn't assume Nux is being honest.
Gotcha.
Little history lesson. At the north of Israel, there's the country Lebanon. Southern Lebanon is the host of Hezbollah, another terrorist organization.
Mhm.
They were being controlled by Nasrallah.
And that's the
who
one.
is-
They're very musical
that's the
people.
guy
They're
that
very
Hassan
musical
blamed.
people. Yeah.
Nope, that's the Houthis.
Oh.
That's
okay.
the Houthis. They're a terrorist organization based in Yemen.
Okay.
So Nasrallah.
there's so
is a
many I
terrorist-
can't keep track. He likes all of them though. That's sort of.
He
the
likes
point.
all of them.
Okay.
Somehow he likes all of them.
Okay. Gotcha.
Interestingly
Yes.
Yeah. So not Sinwar. That's the Hamas. Nasrallah is the terrorist that was in charge of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon.
Okay.
So those guys.
Nasrallah.
Nasrallah. Hassan Nasrallah. So that's the guy that Hassan said, oh, he's super smart. He reads so many books. He's actually kind of based. He's like, he's not even anti-Semitic, bro. That's his
How
deal. He
much?
says
How much of this do we think Hassan actually
that
said?
he's not even anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nasrallah is known for quotes like, I want all Jews in the world to move to Israel so that when we kill all the Jews in Israel, we get all the Jews at the same time.
I want NuxTaku, Tectone, Asmongold, all to be very good friends.
That's something that Nasrallah, the terrorist, said. So when Hassan says that guy's not anti-Semitic, that's not exactly accurate.
Okay. Well, if that's one of his quotes, then I probably would say that that's not the friendliest towards Jewish people for sure. And so is he alive?
He called him smart because he understands American imperialism. I mean, yeah, obviously, even if someone's a terrible person, they can still be smart. You can do terrible things and still be a smart guy. Being smart isn't actually a judgment of moral character. It's a retarded argument in the first place. There are lots of terrible people that are really smart.
No, he's dead. They killed him.
Okay, gotcha. So he was part of Hezbollah.
Correct. He was the leader of Hezbollah.
Okay.
Hezbollah also, by the way, contributed to the murders of over 600,000 people in Syria.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I just want to circle back to Hassan real quick because I think when you look at all the conflict and the history, he's clearly chosen a side, and you've clearly chosen a side, and they're diametrically opposed. and I want to look at I want to magnifying glass the recent stuff that he's done that you were talking about, right? Which was that he was
Why is a
talking
slop YouTuber pretending to care about Hezbollah? Because Hassan bad. You don't understand. Hassan really bad. You just don't get it. You don't. Hassan's so bad. No, I can't explain why, but Hassan's just so bad. We have to stop him.
The UN report. And if you want to go into anything around that, feel free. Get sidetracked. If this reminds you of like another thing that he said about like a different group,
I think you still went
Nux,
not you, Acheeto.
I want to dissect specifically because when I was watching your stream with Tectone, that's what you were saying, and I'm like, damn, this guy knows his stuff. He came prepared, and so just the floor is yours, right? Like just.
Someone participated in massive reprisals against accused collaborators in Gaza after the Second Intifada. It was kind of a mass hysteria. What, as in, like, there was a mass hysteria in Gaza about collaborators, and they killed a bunch of people, potentially unjustly. Probably a lot of it unjustly. Is that what you're saying? Basically. I haven't looked into this, so I'm not accepting this as fact, but that's a characterization. But free walk directly about to say everything might be helpful. Okay, we might look into it at the end, but I kind of want to keep the pace up going through this.
You know, yeah.
Right. Well, okay. So I don't know. Do you want me to send you the UN report?
Well, let's get right into it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I sent it to you. Basically, Hassan has been doing this thing on his streams where essentially he has been denying the rape of women if they are Israeli women. That's kind of been his move. Like anytime someone brings up rapes that happened on October 7th, he will laugh and he'll be like, "Oh, that didn't happen." Like, what are we talking about?
Sorry, real quick. Do you think there's any way that you could like share it on your screen or something? Because there's no way for me to really have it up while you're up. Okay, cool.
Sure. Let me do that. So, yeah. Hold on. Let me just share screen.
I'm not sure if Tectone is a good ally. Bad optics. Wait, what do you mean? Tectone? A good ally, bad optics? Why is that?
I got raped. I got raped.
What's his problem?
Wow. I
mean, that's
someone made rape allegations against him without evidence.
Okay.
I don't know if it happened or didn't happen, but there's no evidence, so I'm not gonna.
Aren't the optics worse if you're saying that I have bad optics? Like, aren't you siding with that by extension?
Dude, I don't know why.
You don't even. You can literally drop the rape allegations completely and Tectone and still a complete loser piece of shit. That entire just breakdown, dude. Literally, that one tweet. Where is it again? Just that one tweet with the 2 clips is just enough to know how fucking much of a wretch this guy is. Even without the hours of streams.
You could do it. Your father went to jail for the same rape shit. Oh, really? Wait, tell me more, man. Tell me more. What else? Who'd my dad rape? Oh, by the way, Jonas, I deal with people like this on a daily basis, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I don't like people should be blamed for the government's actions. Like Israelis keep electing Netanyahu. Can't demonize all of them. Conflict won't end that way. You shouldn't demonize people, but you do have to acknowledge that both in Israel and Hamas, Israel and Gaza rather, Hamas and the Kurd are both quite popular, or were. Like you have to acknowledge that there are problems in those cultures. There are cultural problems there that. In both places that are causing divides between not just the governments but the people.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yep. Oh. 5 women in the military accuse your father of rape. Really? That's crazy. You think so? What else? You want to talk about my dead granddad too? That's the part where we usually go. We usually go from the dad and then we bring up the dead grandfather. Do we want to talk about my grandfather too or no? That's why he went to jail discussing vote. Really, man? That's interesting. How do you know so much? How are you so all-knowing, man? Tell me more things that I don't know.
And then
I don't really know how to feel about it. I obviously feel awful. And so I suppose due to this all being resurfaced by Hassan, I suppose I will no longer be interacting with my father in any way, shape, or form on my stream or my content. The past 24 hours have been very shocking.
This is literally all you need.
You can do it!
This is all you should need anyway.
They changed something with the layout. Can I not screen share two at the same time? Because my VTuber thing is on a screen share.
Gotcha. You can take it off while you're showing the presentation if you want.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Presentation.
Even though we're talking about the U.S. Even though we're talking about Israel-Palestine, even the U.S. considers the Taliban as a terrorist organization. It isn't one now since the government ruler of Afghanistan. Yeah, that's unrelated. Sorry, continue.
Okay, I pulled up your stream because you had my thing open. Hold on, give me a second.
Damn, bruh. This guy's new to it. Tectone's father is a rapist, not Tectone. Okay, and so has the bad optics. What? Use your brain.
Yeah, exactly. It's
because he used his dad in an argument. It's because he used his dad in an argument. He said, "Oh, veterans go through so much, like my dad." It's like, yeah, your dad was putting veterans through some of the worst shit, bro.
And so many people, I can't believe you'd associate with him. His father's a rapist, and it's like, okay,
you're dumb as bricks. Like,
that's sad, I guess. Apparently, Hassan's father helped.
Yeah. Literally, he was going at Hassan, saying there shouldn't be terrorist support platformed on Twitch. It's disgusting. They should be banned. Blah 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 blah. Because my dad fought in the military. He didn't fight for this. So your dad was a rapist. Your dad raped his subordinates. I don't give a fuck about your dad.
Sinwar from prison.
All right,
sorry, not rapist, sexual assaulter.
Right,
sorry,
so,
sexual assaulter.
The sexual violence report done for the October 7th terrorist attack. It's very long. Hassan probably didn't read it. But like you could just look at some of them. I'll show you some. So remember, Hassan showed this conclusion, right? The conclusion here. Right
on stream.
Well, Ethan showed it on their debate, and he's like, "Yeah, of course I know about this already. It's just circumstantial evidence. There's no actual proof that the Hamas terrorists raped anybody." Right?
Interesting.
So the conclusion is, overall, based on the totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at the different locations, there are responsible grounds to believe that the conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the
Hassan totally accepts this report, by the way,
during the October 7th attacks. Credible, circumstantial information, which may be indicative of some form of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexualized torture, cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment, was also gathered.
So he's denying that there were rapes, basically.
No, he's not.
So this is the conclusion. He's denying that it happened.
No, he's not.
And
So Nux is just completely wrong or lying here. That's literally not true. Literally not true. Hassan does not deny this. Hassan, yes, I understand. Hassan has retweeted Zay Squirrel, and the Zay Squirrel person has deceptively edited this text before to make it seem like it's saying there were no rapes or some shit. However, Hassan does not say that. There's not what Hassan says.
Saying, well, even though the conclusion says it probably happened, it's just circumstantial information. So we can't actually believe it.
Why is he doing a gay man voice when Hassan has probably had sex with like 500 times as many women as Nux? Well, sorry, 500 times 0 is
didn't happen, bro. Right? That's the that's the Hassan argument. Pixar, it didn't happen because it's only circumstantial, and why would he believe circumstantial information? Now, something you may not be aware of.
Circumstantial meaning what?
Evidence. Oh, I'm glad you asked, because that is something to be
Meaning
avoided.
bodies like tied in positions where they were most likely raped and then burned. Yeah, we know, Nux. But Hassan doesn't deny any of this. Hassan doesn't deny any of this at all.
Well, this is the circumstantial
It's not true.
information. Here's one, for example. You see, these are different cities that were attacked.
Okay.
They're all categorized in different little parts of the UN report. So, for example, this one. During the attacks on Kibbutz Kfar Aza, located 3 kilometers from Gaza perimeter fence, approximately 50 residents out of its population of 700 were killed when hundreds of militants entered the kibbutz. These militants are the Hamas terrorists.
Right.
Armed with military-grade weaponry, most killings were reported to have occurred in the 12 hours before the IDF were deployed in the area. Dozens of houses were burned. Fighting between militants and IDF forces in and around the kibbutz reportedly to have ended.
I was
only
not
on
in the
the 10th of
Cheetos chat by
October,
this point, no.
complicating the recovery of bodies. The mission team collected information from the first responders who reported discovering bodies of women naked with their hands tied behind their backs, gunshot wounds in the head. While verification of sexual violence against these victims was not possible at this point, right? You have to realize verification means finding cum in their vagina. There's no other verification. You can't verify.
Which they can't really do.
Yeah, almost all rape evidence.
Okay, that's not true. So that they can't do that, and also it's not true that that's literally what they want. Okay. So the reason they couldn't do that, the reason they couldn't gather forensic evidence or whatever, I'd say gather evidence forensically. Technically, it's forensic as a process. Anyway, the reason they couldn't get forensic evidence is because they have religious rules. I think there's a group called Zaka who do like these burials specifically where they bury the bodies or whatever, or like put them in Zaka body bags, which means the bodies have been tampered with, which means they can't collect forensic evidence. And so they can't do a full investigation. Israel won't allow them to do a full investigation. So you can get the evidence. Israel won't allow it because of religious rules. I don't think that means that you can conclude they're lying at all, or even that indicates that they're lying about anything. But I do think people give way too much ground to stupid religious rules. You know, I would say, just as I would say that fucking, you know, Islamic stuff is insane, I'd say some Jewish stuff is insane too. Ultimately, the processes, the investigation, takes precedent over any stupid religious rules you've got, to me, as a secular, rational person.
Is circumstantial inherently.
Okay. Right.
However, the available circumstantial information. All right, so this is the circumstantial information that we're talking about that has not believed. Notably, the recurring pattern of female victims found undressed, bound, and shot indicates that sexual violence, including potential sexualized torture, cruel and human degrading treatment, may have occurred. So, this is awful, obviously, and there's no way you could read this and think that rapes didn't happen.
Right. Someone in
Like,
my
if you're
chat says
being-
he
Yeah,
also
Hassan accepts that. Again, I don't know how many times I can say this. Hassan literally does not deny this UN report at all.
said he didn't believe it happened, but it was inevitable to happen.
So I'll tell you the inevitable clip. That was there was a video. Okay, the reason why I said that one was inevitable is because that was a video. There was a video where they took a, I think it was a German Israeli girl,
Right.
and they grabbed her and they threw her in the back of a truck. And there was a video of all this happening. This you obviously can't show on stream.
Oh, I will
So
not.
there was she was thrown in the back of a truck.
Guys, really? You want them to just go around extracting sperm from corpses? You want them to go around looking for semen in corpses? Families of Israelis killed in war find new hope through sperm extraction. Hey.
And she was naked from the bottom down, and there was like blood. pouring
Obviously,
out between her-
that's getting sperm extraction so they can, I assume so their partners can use it to have kids or some shit. However, the point stands. The point stands. It's not that absurd, okay? You can act like it's fucking absurd to want to swab bodies or whatever, but ultimately that's how you conduct an investigation.
legs, and they kind of paraded her around after they brought her back to Gaza and killed her.
Right. But
So,
they didn't even.
yeah.
There just was no like prisoners or hostages, I should say.
Well, there were hostages. This person was not a hostage. This person was murdered.
Wait, right.
Now,
Wait, so
uh,
this person was just like taken and killed like for no reason.
well, I mean, most of this is, well, to define the reason. Whatever reason you want to give for the rest of it is the reason you gave for this.
Well, I'm saying like specifically the use that you said that she was like in a truck, right? It's like what's the difference between like putting
I
this
think
person
they
in
took her to be a hostage, but she ended up dying.
Okay, that's
getting
what
killed.
that was what I was getting at, right? Because it's like, okay, many people just died on the spot, gun, shoot it, dead. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Versus,
that was the majority. They killed 12.
exactly. So my point is like, why was she not a hostage if they brought her into like a truck?
Well, a lot of the hostages ended up killed in Gaza.
Yeah, I don't think it's a particularly important point. Like, people can die for many reasons in transit or whatever. They should have been shot by something. You just don't know what happened. It's just point. This is a retired point. I literally have no idea.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
like for example, there was a family called the Bibas family where the whole family was taken hostages. The mother, the father, and the two children. The two children were ages 1 and 3.
Gotcha.
And they released the father. They did a prisoner swap with the father, they told the father that the rest of them were alive, but it turns out they were not. They murdered the mother and the two babies in captivity, and they did a coffin dance, parading their corpses out and partying over the corpses of these people. And Hassan, essentially, on that stream where he reacted to that, he was like laughing and cheering along with the Hamas terrorists as they paraded around those coffins.
Mm-hmm. When was this?
A couple months ago.
My God.
Gotcha.
I could show it to you. I made a video.
Yeah. Show the clip. I want to see this.
Right. Let's see. I'm sure that I'll find it on Twitter. But anyway, I'll show you the inevitable clip while I'm looking for this one. This is the inevitable
show
clip
everything.
about the girl that was. This is about the girl that was murdered, thrown in the back of the truck, and like blood pouring out between her legs, and that.
You're not seeing the entire picture. Were there brutal, unjustifiable acts of violence?
Yeah, I've got a BBC article about this. Let's read this. Israel's heart lie in tatters as Hamas hands over first dead hostages. The hearts of an entire nation lie in tatters, Israel's President Isaac Herzog has said. Bodies of 4 hostages taken alive by Hamas since attack on 7th October 2023 returned to Tel Aviv. Hamas says the bodies are those of a mother and 2 children from the Bibas family, whose unknown fate has gripped Israel. Israel has confirmed only the identity of the 4th, Oda Lifshitz, 84, a veteran peace activist, after a forensic examination. President Herzog wrote, "There are no words," in a post on social media platform X, asking the 4th for forgiveness for not bringing him safely. It's the first time Hamas has returned captives dead since the ceasefire began last month. Following Hamas's handover of the 4 bodies, thousands of Israelis gathered. Okay, so what's the story here? Were dead, triggered an outbreak of grief. Hamas claimed in November 2023 they had been killed in an Israeli airstrike without providing evidence. The Israeli government never confirmed the claim. Well, I don't see evidence that they were murdered by Hamas here, or that they misled people about the status. It sounds like they pretty quickly said, no, they're dead. They got killed by an airstrike. They're dead. Didn't present it as though they were still alive and do a fake trade, like Nux was saying. That doesn't seem to have been what happened based on this article. So I could be missing something. Don't take this as 100%. But it doesn't seem like that's what happened here. They didn't mislead them. And there hasn't been verification about how they died, as far as I can tell. How were the Bibas family killed? Israel says forensics show Bibas family killed by captors. Let's see. Let's see. But forensic findings, which have not been seen by the BBC, suggested the boys had been killed with bare hands. They got the bodies of the 2 boys, but not of the mother. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu alleged Hamas put the body of a Gazan woman in a coffin instead of the body of Shiri Bibas. Hamas spokesperson said that Shiri's remains specifically mixed up with other bodies found on the rubble of a structure after an Israeli airstrike. Did anything else come out about this? So that seems bad on the Hamas side if they sent the wrong body back. Oh, there's a Wikipedia page for the kidnapping and killing. Cause of death. Hamas and Israel have made conflicting claims about the death of Shiri Bibas and her children. Hamas, which claims they died in an Israeli airstrike, has not provided any evidence to substantiate its claims. Following the return of the remains, Israel stated that forensic analysis showed that Ariel and Kfir Bibas had been killed with bare hands in November 2023. Israel stated that Shiri Bibas had been brutally murdered together with her children, that the corpse had been mutilated to make it appear as if they died in a bombing. Israel stated it shared evidence of these claims with its international partners, but did not publicly release the evidence. Hamas described the Israeli claims as baseless lies. Ofri Bibas Levy, sister of Yarden Bibas, criticized Netanyahu and other government officials for publicly sharing graphic details from the autopsy report. In social media on the 25th of February, the day before the funeral of her sister-in-law and nephews, she told Netanyahu to shut up, calling his statements outright abuse of a family that has already been enduring hell for 16 months. The Bibas family sent a cease and desist letter to Israeli government officials, demanding they stop publicly disclosing details of the deaths beyond those already approved by Yarden Bibas. So it doesn't sound like there is conclusive evidence about the cause of death. There are conflicting claims that are made without evidence from either side. Israel claimed to have shared it with international partners, but I haven't seen any evidence of international partners speaking on that. And the Bibas family are not happy about the information being released. Okay. I wouldn't draw a firm conclusion there. Personally, I would not draw any firm conclusion there. Both sides have a huge incentive to claim each thing. So, without evidence, I wouldn't come down strong. Oh, the video of, sure, the Calvin dance video. Okay, so yeah, it looks like there was basically there were celebrations as they were handing over the coffins to Israel, just like they were, you know, people in Gaza were, you know, celebrating around the coffins basically. And I assume Hamas, Hassan watched that and laughed or some shit.
That
civilians
had to endure. Absolutely, absolutely. I've seen the fucking videos. I know. I saw the girl with the dreads in the back of the pickup truck. That shit is completely unacceptable. That might not represent the interests of the Palestinians, but that is violent retribution.
Wait,
was an inevitability.
They said it doesn't represent the interests, but I guess if it's not a democracy, it doesn't really matter.
Well,
but
when he says
it doesn't, he's saying in two ways. It doesn't represent their interests, and it's not necessarily what they want to happen, and also it doesn't actually do, it's not helping them out. It doesn't help them out. It's not actually helping.
It doesn't represent the interests. Like, he's arguing, you know, it doesn't represent the interests of the Palestinians that people are getting raped. Like, raping women.
Do you think it does? I don't think it. I mean, I don't think it does.
No, of course not. Obviously not.
So we agree with Hassan here? Okay.
It's violence is unstoppable in that situation. If all you know is violence, if all you have withstood is violence, if every single moment of your life is violent, some fucking douchebags are going to behave in that regard. Whereas during a military operation, you're not seeing the entire picture.
Yeah, so he's saying because
he didn't really say it was inevitable, though. To be fair,
he did. He literally said it.
Were there brutal, unjust,
yeah, I'll show it one more time.
Justifiable acts of violence that civilians had to endure? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I've seen the fucking videos. I know. I saw the girl with the dreads in the back.
Right. So this is him saying he saw the girl with the dreads.
Right. The video that you talked about. Yeah.
Back of the pickup truck. That shit is completely unacceptable.
Okay.
That might not represent the interests of the Palestinians, but that is violent retribution that was an inevitability.
Right. So he's saying so
this is a totally reasonable analysis. It's a powder keg. It's a powder keg. Shit is going to go fucking crazy when it blows up.
Saying that this girl getting raped and paraded around in Gaza was
right.
Yeah, so
okay, interesting. Acheeto, rape is not the main goal of it. It's more so a land mass and what they can control in those actions considered.
Yeah, I don't know why they're focusing on the inevitable part. The stronger criticism you could make there is the idea that he's referring to it as retribution, like it was as if it was deserved, right? That would be, I think, the better. If you were going to even be bad faith towards it, that would be the better thing to attack. That's the point. I think Nux is actually just too stupid to understand his own talking points here. This is why I'm saying, if he was any better at this, you'd think he was getting paid, but...
Opposing party, yes. Okay,
I'm
not really sure what you mean, to be honest with you. Continue?
Yeah, don't know. So anyway, so this is the, these are the Hamas terrorists parading around the coffins of the babies that they murdered, with their bare hands, actually. In another Hassan lie, by the way, is Hassan says that, no, I don't believe that Hamas killed them. It was probably like an Israeli missile strike that killed them. But it was not. It was Hamas that killed them. Because
how do you know
the United Health Organization actually
I mean, I
did autopsies on the body, and the bodies were beaten to death.
That's not true, as far as I can tell. Yeah, he's lying about the investigation here. Israel claimed it and haven't released the findings. I don't always say United Health Organization said something. I don't know what he's.
The first lie about this conflict that I remember.
He keeps claiming Hassan is telling definitive lies, but it's obvious that Nux has no idea what he's talking about.
I'm telling it was something along the lines of there was a hospital that a hospital that had been blown up. And then he was basically saying, you can say it, yeah, that's fine.
There was a hospital that was, well, I wouldn't say blown up. They said it was blown up. It turns out that...
This is crazy. I didn't actually think Nux was stupid enough to have a conversation with anyone about this kind of thing. I thought he was, like, smart enough to know that he can get away with much more in his videos than he can when someone's, like, trying to get him to reason through something.
The explosion mostly took place in the parking lot, but there was a hospital that was, quote-unquote, blown up, and, you know... Hassan immediately goes on stream. Israel's doing war crimes. They're attacking hospitals. And then it turned out later that it wasn't Israel that attacked that hospital. It was Hamas. They actually, their rocket, I think, misfired and blew up their own hospital. And they blamed Israel, and Hassan believed it. And every single independent organization that looked into it was like, no, we saw the rocket. We saw how it happened. It was definitely Hamas that did it, and Hassan, to this day, has not corrected the record and still claims that Israel blew up the hospital.
Are you serious? He just hasn't corrected the record?
Not that I know of. Maybe he did it and I missed it, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Crazy. Yeah, because I remember, I'm pretty sure Willie Mack Show covered this in one of his Hassan videos, and that's how I found that out. So I would have been, I'm shocked that he hasn't. Okay, continue.
As far as I'm aware, he didn't. But you'll have to recognize something else that Hassan likes doing when he likes talking about war crimes. Okay, I'll show you this one after. In the meantime, this is what I was talking about before with them doing a coffin dance with the babies that they murdered.
This morning near Han Yunis.
Wait, Willie Slackjaw covered this? Oh well, no problem. I can accept that without any interrogation then.
Most macabre handover ceremony. Hamas fighters
Ain't no way.
carry the
Ain't
coffins
no friggin' way.
of 4 dead Israeli hostages, 2 of them children. On stage, an offensive propaganda message blaming Prime
Offensive propaganda message?
Why are you laughing? Why would you laugh?
Yeah. So anyway, like doing this whole weird laughing, supporting terrorists. I could show you.
I mean,
Whatever. You got the idea.
wait, just go back. No, I actually don't. Go back and play the clip because, like, I'm not gonna like. People laugh at inappropriate
Carry the
shit,
coffin.
you know, like.
That's
Just
true.
play it. Just play
That's
it. Just
true.
play it. Just play it.
of 4 dead Israeli hostages.
I want to see what he says
2
after.
of
That
them
matters more to me.
children.
I'm not gonna just
On
like,
stage,
scold him for a
an
chuckle.
offensive propaganda message
Fair enough.
blaming Prime
Offensive propaganda message?
Why are you laughing? Why would you laugh?
Whatever. This clip doesn't have.
Is it just
more of
Ethan?
like,
I mean, I guess if he
But
defends
yeah,
it,
I
if he
can tell you-
defends
I
it,
can tell you what he says. I can tell you what he says
Sure,
after
sure,
that.
sure.
He says after that, offensive propaganda message. Literally, this is Israel. They can't even say propaganda. They can't even say propaganda when they're being killed. Like that's like the rest of his argument. Essentially.
I don't understand.
So over here behind, so you see, here's the terrorist. Here's the coffins, the people they murdered.
Gotcha.
Behind them, they have a picture of the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, like photoshopped to look like a vampire. And the war criminal Netanyahu and his Nazi army killed them with missiles from Zionist warplanes. Talking about how they're claiming that Netanyahu.
No, I totally disagree, Jumbly. I totally disagree. The methods arise, like the reason why those methods are used ultimately is because Gaza is like. Here's the thing. I think the line in the UN report is just the way to think about this. The objective is world without war, not war without rape. Okay, that's the way of thinking about this. The idea that because it's not just as simple as Hamas raped people because Hamas like raping people. It's like Hamas have a underdeveloped, undertrained, undisciplined military that they've never even had the idea that Hamas never even have the opportunity to have like a military like the IDF that has the accountability and structure that the IDF has, or in theory is supposed to have, or any other modern Western military. Like they don't even have that opportunity. So like sitting there and saying, well, that's a really bad method. Yes, it is a really bad method, and that shit should be fucking stamped out, and you should always push to have that shit stamped out. But the idea that wasn't inevitable, that isn't kind of part of the powder keg. No, it kind of is. It is part of the powder keg. You know that there is this is part of the situation, is that there is an undisciplined military there. An undisciplined, undeveloped military. That is part of the powder keg. How about don't rape maybe? It's fine. If you say that enough, maybe it'll stop.
Israel killed these hostages, which is not true.
Okay.
They killed them themselves. So this is so he laughs and he's like, offensive propaganda message? What do you mean? They're at war. They're allowed to propaganda. They claim that their enemy murdered their own people when in actuality they kidnapped and murdered themselves.
So he's just defending misinformation. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I kind of see that. I mean, I think the laughing part is like, I mean, I don't know what you said about it, but I mean, like, ultimately, like, I'm going to laugh at some fucked up shit. Like, if I laugh at, like, the Shiloh Hendricks clip where she calls the kid the N-word, it's like, well, I don't support her saying the N-word. I just think that it's, like, so fucking, like, it's like, you know, people laugh in awkward situations to diffuse the awkwardness or just because they feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't know if you said that, you know, he's laughing. Because, I mean, when Ethan grandstands over laughing, I'm not going to, like, you know, I think that's silly, but...
I think that's valid. I think that's valid for sure. But I would argue.
But no, I mean,
that,
ultimately, like what you just said is true. Like, if he's defending
over someone
misinformation,
saying
it's stupid.
Laughing over someone saying the N-word and laughing at the misinformation and defending the misinformation of people that murdered and are parading in the streets with blasting music with the coffins of babies. I think that's a slightly different, like,
obviously,
situation.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think, I mean, I don't want to get too autistic with this. I mean, it's not even worth. I'll make this very quick. I also think there is a difference between like laughing and then like a chuckle in between like the sentence, and I think it's a chuckle, and I think Ethan's like he's laughing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the clip of Hassan.
It's not the laughing. It's not.
This is like every fucking Hassan clip, literally. He does a scoff between words, and this guy's actually cracking up at rape victims. He's cracking up at a live video of a rape. It's like, okay,
the laughing as much as the
defense. Yeah, I think the defense is worse. Yeah, I agree.
It's the wholesome coverage of the coffin names.
100%. Yeah, totally. Like I think
he watched this and he didn't once say like, "Wow, that's really fucked up that they murdered these people." And these, like, you can't see them. These little white things over here on the coffins. These are pictures of the people that were supposedly in the coffins.
Right.
I say supposedly because they returned one of the wrong bodies. When this happened.
Jesus,
anyway, whatever.
It's fucked up. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, they are pretty fucked up.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the defense is worse. Also, yeah, I don't know why Twitter's doing this now. I thought that was a bug on my screen. It's like the video's different now. But anyway, yeah, I think the defense of this is like.
No, I don't think that bad. If you go back and listen to my conversation with Acheeto earlier, he was more than receptive to stuff I was arguing to him. So I don't think it's just subcamp thing.
Worse, because it's like, you know, whether you laugh or whether you defend, it's like you can have like an awkward laughter and say this is just like unacceptable, and then I think that's actually, you know, it goes way further than you know, the no laugh plus defense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think the laughing is the problem.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I think the problem is more defending the terrorists that are murdering children.
Okay,
kind of thing.
Right, and so going on from that, right? What else has he said about the war that's just wrong?
What I was gonna say, in regards to the hospital thing. So his argument very often is that
honestly, my opinion of Acheeto has gone up watching this and talking to him today. I would have just written him off as a Turkey Tom Skinwalker completely, to be honest. But no, he actually does ask questions and like listen, which is actually rare.
Why is Israel bombing hospitals and stuff like that? And Hamas, the terrorists, they put their rocket launchers in hospitals and in playgrounds to shoot at Israel. So when Israel attacks the rocket launcher, which is placed in a hospital, they are also attacking a hospital. Hamas uses human shields, and like completely verified that they use human shields. And by every different society on the planet, the UN discovered this as well. So when you say that Israel attacked the hospital and it's a war crime, and it turns out it wasn't even Israel that attacked that hospital, it was Gaza that blew up their own hospital, and they actually do put their rocket launchers in hospitals.
Okay, so he's mixing up like a bunch of it. Israel have, I believe that the claim is that the stat or whatever is, they've destroyed every school and damaged every hospital in Gaza. Destroyed every school and damaged every hospital. Now, is it possible that Hamas were operating out of a lot of those hospitals and schools? Sure. I'm willing to engage with that idea at very least, even though I accept it as fact. I'm willing to engage with that idea. You are saying that Israel don't strike hospitals, basically. No, they do. They've hit all of them. They've hit all of them. They've flattened the place. So let's not bullshit around. If you can substantiate the strategic justification for each of these hospitals, then you do that. But don't just gesture to a vague notion of Hamas operate out of civilian infrastructure, so we had to destroy every hospital. No. How about you stand on it and actually substantiate those individual strikes? Because it's going to be very hard for you to convince most people that destroying every school and damaging every hospital in a country was totally justified and there was no other way you could have done this.
It is wild misinformation to just say, look at what's going on here.
Do you think that two things can be true at once, where it's like
I'm not here defending everything Israel has ever done.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to. Israel definitely made some pretty awful decisions in regards to what they've done, for sure.
Okay.
But it's being miscategorized in every single instance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, by you.
That's kind of
right
what
now.
I was trying to get at. Is because I mean, from what I understand and the content that I've seen around the war, I mean, it does seem like there has been decisions made by the Israeli government and the Israeli military that have been like extremely fucked up. And I'm not saying that it's like, I mean, look, like it's a fucking war, right? So obviously there's going to be you have to like. I don't know. I mean, international law is kind of fake. So if you violate it during a war, it's like, you know, well, you did that. It's a war crime. It's like, well, war itself is it's like, I don't know. And so, you know, when Israel does things that people think are like, inexcusable and stuff like that, I would say, like, you know, isn't this all inexcusable? Like, isn't, like, Israel is doing inexcusable shit. Palestine is doing inexcusable shit. I mean, it's a fucking war. I don't know. Maybe that's just like a enlightened centrist.
Like, Acheeto, the good thing is that Asmongold has made it so there is literally no barrier for entry to political content. You can literally be the most uninformed, wretched, lazy, like, despicable, just, you know, just like some random fucking dude that plays World of Warcraft and be the biggest political commentator on the internet. So there's no barrier anymore. You can literally just talk about whatever you want.
Damn, like, you know, but this is worse sort of thing.
Maybe I mean, I would argue it's a little bit of an enlightened centrist moment, but
yeah, no, go
whatever.
For it.
I don't.
No, I mean, please critique me because I don't. I mean, I'm not like a political.
Like, I think Israel definitely. I think Israel definitely did some not valid things for sure. Absolutely, I think they overdid it in
strong statement
instances.
Strong statement, Nux.
100%. Yeah.
Like, for example, this is a terrorist tunnel. Like, there are 300 miles of terrorist tunnels in Gaza. 300 miles.
I don't quite know what you mean by change.
The reason I mention this is because they don't open the bomb shelters and tunnels to civilians in Gaza. Mm-hmm. They don't do that because they want, again, they're terrorists. The Hamas terrorists want civilian casualties so that on the world stage, they could say, look how bad Israel is. Mm-hmm. It's like, you have to realize they want the civilian casualties. And that's fucked up. Like, so this is the terrorist tunnel that they don't let civilians in.
We are here in Beit Lahia in Gaza, 699 Battalion. We see here a fighting tunnel.
Nux literally wouldn't have done this if Acheeto was informed, by the way. If Acheeto was actually someone who was presenting himself as, like, well-read on this, there is no way Nux would have gone on this stream and started talking like this. I just got it 20 minutes ago. I've lost a lot of the blood, but I feel Acheeto is actually raising a very, very low bar. Thank you for the $5 Spencer.
Of Hamas, 15 meters deep, right outside a school.
Right?
So, I love this, how not every piece of it, Nux literally will never link, like, mainstream news articles. He'll never link, he, like, linked a UN report, but Hassan agreed with that UN report. Everything he does to show that Hassan is a liar is, here's this Twitter link, here's this Twitter link, here's this Twitter link, here's my video. It's like, this should set off alarm bells. Hardcore. It's just so frustrating that people will rely purely on Twitter. And that's just like, that's their information source. That is where they go. Bro, open Wikipedia. Look at the citations. I'm begging. It's like, this is not complicated stuff. This is not like, no one's asking you to read a book. No one's asking you to read a book. Literally no one expects you to read books. Open Wikipedia, that's it.
Have these tunnels over here that the terrorists use to store ammunition and capture hostages and move and operate, and they put them on purpose right next to schools. And right next to hospitals. So it's a really, like, it's a terrible war. It's a terrible war.
Right.
Here's another.
Wikipedia's not a politically neutral source anymore. I mean, it's very difficult for there to be such thing as a politically neutral source, but you should at least use that as a jumping off point. I think it's a good jumping off point for most people. Generally, Wikipedia is accurate for most people's purposes.
Another one.
What do you think about like people that are saying like Israel's doing genocide? Because I see that like all the time. Like that's what Hassan says, Noah Samson says, and it's like, what do you think about that?
So obviously the debate is very contested. Do you know the definition of genocide?
I mean, I think the
Because
definition is
genocide
like,
is kind of used for everything right now.
Yeah.
And
Like I think genocide is like
it became one of those buzzwords like
to erase
Trump got elected. It's a transgender genocide.
Okay, I think this is where I started watching. This is where I started watching last night.
Yeah. It's like to erase a certain people, right?
I opened this up. Literally, Jay still put this on screen share. And I was like, dude, there is no fucking way I'm hearing Nux and Acheeto debate the definition of genocide and whether it applies to Gaza. I was like, bro, this is next level. This is like, why is this happening?
Yeah, so I
do you think? I think that they kind of are, though. Aren't they just trying to like erase Palestinians?
Well, not in Gaza. They would have bombed Gaza a lot more.
Okay.
I mean, Gaza.
Starbash, I can almost immediately tell that what you're saying there is a retarded, reductionist reading of what that Wikipedia article says.
Gaza has 2.1 million people before the war, and they still have 2.1 million people right now.
Right.
In Gaza.
I mean, we were technically trying to like genocide the Japanese during World War II, right?
Absolutely not. What are you talking about?
You don't think so?
What are you? No, for sure not. Definitely not.
Okay. Brave.
They
strong take.
The war. Some people would argue that dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan was incredibly excessive, for sure. But it wasn't a genocide.
That's kind of where I'm going with that, right?
They weren't trying to kill every Japanese person.
Okay, you don't have to be trying to kill every person of a group. It's the genocide is what is it? The intentional destruction of a group in whole or in part. I believe. Right? That's correct. It's in whole or in part. You don't have to be intending to kill all of them.
Okay.
No, definitely not.
I mean, I don't know.
You could argue that it was definitely excessive.
That's kind of where I'm going with it. It's like I don't know if you drop 2 nuclear bombs on a group of people and don't want them. I mean, I suppose like when I don't know. I mean, I guess it wasn't a strategic.
Wow, isn't this crazy, Starbash? How I go on this Wikipedia article that you link, where you say it's saying that adult human female is a slur, and it says right at the top of this article is about the slogan used by anti-trans activists. For dictionary definitions of woman, see Wiki Woman. So it's not saying that adult human female is a slur, is it? It's saying that the slogan used by anti-trans activists is sometimes used as a slur. Wow, is that crazy, Starbash?
Attempt to erase the Japanese people, so it probably wasn't a genocide.
But the intent is required for genocide.
Right. No,
genocide
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Intent. So Hitler against the Jews, that was a genocide.
And listen, bro, I'm not arguing from this specific point. I'm not going to argue from any point of like.
In fact,
why did this retarded pedophile try anything here? Why did this retarded pedophile try talking crazy like that?
Terrorists.
Well, hold on. People are going to eat me alive in the comments. People are going to eat me alive in the comments for this. So I just want to make it clear. Like, I'm not like. This is all like I'm workshopping this in my brain as we speak. Okay, I'm not saying.
Why did you just send me this Wikipedia article?
I am here learning from someone who has done way more research than me. Okay, so before people want to like call me names in the comments, I'm learning. I'm making. If I say isn't that like blank and you don't like the simile there, it's like because I'm working out of my brain. Okay, continue. I have to save face a little bit.
Fair. Yeah. So genocide is the intent to wipe out an entire people, and if the intent is not there, it's not a genocide.
Okay.
And in fact, if the intent is there and you're not successful, it's still a genocidal fight. For example, the Hamas terrorists that say they want to kill all Jews. They say they want to kill all Jews. They say this in their charter, by the way. Their charter is let there be no tree that doesn't scream, there is a Jew behind this tree. Come kill the Jew behind this tree. And that is their charter. They want to kill all Jews.
The charter was revised.
They
the
are
charter was
genocidal.
revised. But
So
sure.
Hassan supporting Hamas
I understand
makes
it wasn't
him
the founding charter.
pro-genocide.
Just to be clear, it was in the founding charter.
Because they are genocidal. The terrorists are genocidal.
Right.
Now, whatever you want to say, I know that it's a currently contested debate. I'm no geopolitical historian, but I think if you're being realistic about it, I don't think there's a genocide in Gaza.
So like, there's like so many quotes you can take from like Israeli politicians and shit that would substantiate this.
Okay.
But sure, it's like I don't even have like a strong position whether it's genocide or not. I don't think it's like, for me it's like, if it gets ruled a genocide, then okay. Colloquially, I think it's reasonable to call it a genocide. I think if people use ethnic cleansing and genocide, basically interchangeably, colloquially. So I literally don't care if someone calls it genocide, because it is, you know, I don't see a way that's not ethnic cleansing.
Interesting.
But obviously, I am biased, and because you know, I had a family member that was murdered October 7th by Hamas.
Are you serious?
So yep.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm obviously biased. However, and I
Well,
recognize
no,
my bias.
I mean, that's like valid as fuck. Like
Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, NuxTaku. Who are you gonna track?
Jesus Christ, I'm actually really sorry. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It is indeed very shitty for sure, and I'm recognizing that I am biased, but I am also being realistic for a second and saying,
yeah, I'm sure that
if you look at the population of Gaza in 2022, there were 2.1 million people. If you look at the population in Gaza right now, there's 2.1 million people. That's not a genocide. You got to realize Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel could wipe out Gaza in one.
I just don't trust anything Nux
obviously they're
says.
not doing
I've
it.
seen this guy just be such a wretched liar so many times. I cannot trust anything this guy says at this point.
Like, if they did that, like, that would be like a world war. The moment you use nuclear weapons, yes. The moment that I'm sure of. That I'm no. Hold on. Stop.
Maybe not nuclear weapons.
Hold on. Let me just say this. The moment you invite nuclear war, that's when the whole world gets involved.
Yeah, that's generally when there are two different countries that both have nuclear. This is like, again, I'm not. Israel's Air Force could wipe out Gaza in a day, essentially.
Well,
with the amount of like
munitions
and weapons that they
have.
Okay. Forget nukes. Forget nukes.
Okay. Sure, continue.
But they could.
I didn't say he's lying. I said I just don't believe anything Nux says without being shown evidence for it. Like, especially not stuff he's saying about his life when he's a completely anonymous VTuber. Like,
now, obviously, I hope that they don't do that. That would be awful. But but
is it
so I'm not gonna let him just invoke the emotional weight of some story and just be like, okay, well, you've got no stake, no one can check this. Like,
hold on. But well, isn't that like a bad argument? Because that's saying like we could kind of erase any country we want, right? And like that's just saying like, well, because we're doing it over the span of like however long and we're not blowing them.
Thank you for the 699 wireless boost.
Wait till this Nux guy learns of the Bosnian genocide.
So true.
Up immediately, then we're not doing a genocide. Like that's a bad argument.
Well, is anyone accusing America of doing genocide because America could blow?
No, but you're saying that like, you know, if there wanted to be a
is
genocide, we could have already done it.
Like his argument doesn't make any sense.
Doing a genocide, right? And the argument is the genocide is wiping out an entire people.
Yeah.
Right. Israel has the power to wipe out the entire people.
Yeah.
And is not doing that. In fact, if you look at the
militant but that's what I'm saying.
If you look at the militant to civilian casualty chart, it's on par with any American attack anywhere in the Middle East over the last 20 years.
Okay, well, that's apples to oranges.
Yeah, but the proportion isn't what determines. Obviously, that can be evidence for it, but the statement genocide is about the intention.
No, it's not, because it's not going out there specifically targeting civilians. Like, I don't know if you know this, but Israel has a thing where they drop leaflets on buildings saying that we will be bombing this building in an hour. We found out that there is terrorist infrastructure in this building. We will be bombing this building in the hour. Get away.
What is a leaflet?
Leaflet, like little papers, like they'll fly over.
See, the death threats Destiny made against you and Jay, Stalker Miss Girl, made it into an email among council and eventually a court filing. Yeah, I did hear that. Thank you for the $5, Klungo. Huge appreciate it. Thank you.
They'll drop like a ton of little papers over a building.
Okay.
The papers will be saying, we will be bombing this building. Get out of there. People will flee the building and then they'll blow up the building.
Okay.
Like that's not genocidal.
I mean, okay, yeah. Continue. I mean, I
Like,
guess
they'll warn them.
that
They do
part,
door
yeah,
knockings.
that makes sense. I guess just like what you're saying is that just because they have the capacity to erase this country with nuclear weapons and they haven't, then therefore they're not genocidal. I don't like that argument.
My understanding is that roof knocking is like apparently this isn't very effective. I don't know a whole lot about this, so I'm like kind of spitballing. Well, I've heard that roof knocking isn't very effective because when you're in a place that's getting bombed a fuck ton, it's kind of difficult to identify which roof knocks are, what noise is what.
Like, I'm not saying they aren't. I'm saying that argument is bad. Would you agree?
I personally don't agree because I think genocide is an incredibly harsh claim. Like Hitler did anything in his power to kill Jews. Like that dude was.
Yeah. Also, there have been times where Israel's like bombed safe zones that they've told people to evacuate to and stuff like that. So all this is like, you can say, oh yeah, this stuff happens, but that doesn't. Yeah, sometimes that stuff happens. Sometimes they totally betray that stuff. So you're not really making an argument that it's not genocide right now.
Killing machine. All right. Bro got 6 million people. Like, you don't realize there are less Jews in the world right now than there were in 1938.
How is that possible?
Because there were 16 million Jews in 1938.
Yeah,
6 million were killed, and right now there are 15 million Jews.
There's 16 million, now there's 50 million. Is that true?
Look it up. Or maybe there were more. Maybe there were more than 16 million before, but yeah.
There's 15.8 million Jewish people in the world.
Yeah, and there were over 16 million in 1938. So the Jews have still not fully recovered, and may never recover. But that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that's genocidal.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I just asked ChatGPT. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It says
Irish population has not recovered from Britain's famine. Kuihman oddly quiet about that. Well, silence is violence, okay? So interpret that however you wish.
There are more Jews now than in 1938. Estimates. About 16 in 1938 there was about 16.6 million Jews worldwide. In 2024 there was 15.7 million Jews worldwide. Still fewer than Yeah, I know, but it's not.
What I said.
I know. It's not done. It says still fewer than pre-Holocaust numbers, but steadily recovering. However, if you meant currently in 2025, then the number has likely surpassed or is about to surpass pre-Holocaust numbers. So I guess you're close enough. I guess you're close enough, but
you got the point. The point that I was trying to make is the Nazis.
Why are you asking ChatGPT? Who else am I supposed to act? The fucking the U.S.
Again, like the numbers isn't what determines genocide. It's very dumb.
The U.S. Census, like, I'm confused.
Don't let them get to you. It's based. ChatGPT's based.
It
does the research for you.
It was quick.
It's quick.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Continue. Anyways, we're talking about genocide. We're talking about genocide, right? Yeah. I think that argument's bad. I think that argument's bad.
That's fine. I think genocide is the intent. Well, the definition of genocide is the intent to wipe out by the fact that you see Israel is doing everything in their power to not wipe out an entire people. I would argue that means that they are not doing a genocide.
Right. Well, I think what you're saying is their intent is not that, because if it was, they would have done it already. That's like saying, oh, I'm not bullying that kid because if I really wanted to bully him, I would have beat him up already. It's like, it doesn't really make sense. The intent makes it the crime. Oh,
true. That is genocide.
Yeah. We did talk about that. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
And by the fact that
how do we know the intent?
Well, you're right. You can never know intent. Intent is proven by actions, and
you can proven by actions, and also there are again, I don't know the full arguments on whether it's genocide or not, but there are plenty of statements you can point to from Israeli politicians and military commanders, and look at just their actions as well, of changing safe zones around or bombing safe zones, bombing refugee camps, stuff like that. There's plenty of things you can point to. I don't think Nux is going to have a good justification for each of these to that dispels the idea of genocide. There's absolutely just no way. I wouldn't either. Not saying it's like crazy. You know, obviously, explaining every single one is a lot. But I don't think it's smart to firmly assert that it's not genocide if you can't do that. I would say ambivalent position, you know, agnostic on it. I don't know if it's genocide or not. I'd like to see it hashed out in court. That's what really, if you're pro-Israel, you should be pushing for, if you're truly pro-Israel and you think Israel are doing the right thing, you should be pushing for international processes, for courts to do their thing, to vindicate Israel, so that everyone can be proven wrong and we can all move on. Right? That's what you should be saying. Take an agnostic position because you don't know. You haven't done the research to know whether all these strikes are justified. Push for the proper accountability and processes, because that will hopefully get the truth.
Actions are A, not leveling the entire Gaza, B, dropping leaflets and pamphlets and knocking on doors, telling them in advance before they bomb their buildings, C, basically, essentially, you may not know this, Israel is supplying Gaza right now with humanitarian aid.
Yeah, international courts be biased versus Israel, just like the UN is. You're living in a complete fantasy if you think the UN is biased against Israel. Yo, thank you, Matt N. Hugely appreciated for the 10 gifted memberships there. Hugely appreciated.
Like, if it was a genocide, would Israel be powering their electricity?
UN is Hamas. ICC is Hamas, dude.
And sending in food and water?
That does not, I don't, is that true?
Like,
that doesn't even seem true. I'm sorry. That sounds insane. That sounds insane.
Look it up.
What am I looking up?
Is Israel providing Gaza with their electricity, food, and water?
Okay. Is Israel providing Gaza with electricity, food, and water?
And you know, ChatGPT is probably going to give you like this whole long answer.
I'll just read it. I mean,
go for it.
Look, I'm just trying to be fair, right? I don't want to just like sit here and like, you know, take everything you say as fact. You know, obviously, you know, you're a friend and I respect what you have to say, but you know, for the sake of okay. Israel,
I'm biased.
Ooh,
wait, so wait, what did he just say?
It's fact, you know. I'm just trying to be fair, right? I'll just read it. I mean,
go for it.
Look, I'm
answer
and water. Still provide
city, food, and water.
I'm looking up. What am I?
Yeah, okay. So Nux saying they provide the electricity, food, and water. Gaza does not have its own infrastructure. They cannot make their own electricity. They do not have their own utilities. They do not have their own water. They do not control it, and they are not allowed the infrastructure. Israel are occupying them. They give it to them because they're just so kind. They give it to them. They control the area, and they shut those services off to coerce the population and military. It's not that they are just like, oh, here's some water, here's some food. And they've had a blockade stopping aid.
What about,
is Israel providing Gaza with their electricity, food, and water?
And this was about aid, by the way. And then Nux brings up utilities. It's about aid, and Nux brings up utilities. It's not the same thing.
Is Israel providing Gaza with electricity, food, and water?
And you know, ChatGPT is probably going to give you like this whole long answer.
I'll just read it. I mean,
go for it.
Look, I'm just trying to be fair, right? I don't want to just like sit here and like, you know, take everything you say as
fact. Yeah, this was like, so I came in around this point and heard this. And I was just like, so I was losing my mind hearing this. Because it's like, dude, Nux, you are like, I can't tell if he's consciously lying when he presents that as aid. Because that is just some of the most absurd, like, just straight bold-faced propaganda. Where you pretend that Israel controlling their water and electricity is them giving Gaza aid. You're insane. What are you talking about right now?
Klunga smarter than Kuihman. I hide my boogers in a big secret place so no one else can eat them.
Thank you for the $10, Klungo. Hugely appreciated.
Fact, you know, obviously, you know, you're a friend and I respect what you have to say, but you know, for the sake of okay. Israel,
I'm biased.
Ooh, I got bad news for you, bro.
Go for it.
As of May 2025, Israel is not consistently providing electricity, food, and water to Gaza.
Did you
ChatGPT, let's go.
That is,
dude, mind-blowing stuff here. Did I say they're consistently providing food, water, and electricity? Oh, so you mean like they control the supply of this stuff and they shut it off at will if the Palestinians are doing something they don't like? Right. Oh, okay. I see. Oh.
it's true.
What does consistently mean?
Okay. All right. Hey, I know what the word consistently means. Am I consistently uploading videos? I am. But if I wasn't, then I'd still be a YouTuber. True point. Okay, let's see what this says. Israel has cut off electricity supplies to Gaza since October 2023. Water, they're
at war. You have to realize there's a war also. Right?
Well, yeah,
so
but
they're
I mean,
supplying them during a war.
Right.
Guys, that's so like that. Dude, they're in a war with them, and they still let the civilians have water. Dude, that's so nice of them. That they're in a war and they still let the civilians have water. Oh my god. Wow. Sometimes. They still let the civilians have water sometimes.
During a war, they are still supplying them and cutting it off strategically for different operations.
Okay, so... Well, I'm just going to read the rest of it. It says, the blockade has also disrupted water supplies. The shutdown of desalination products, I guess that's just like water-related stuff, due to power has led to critical shortage of portable water. Doctors Without Borders reported that water is being used as a weapon of war in Gaza, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. So, low-key, bro, they're not supplying electricity or water.
Low-key.
And food. So, low-key.
Low-key. The idea low-key, the idea of supplying food and water to the enemy in a war,
dude,
a little bit wild. And
yeah.
Dude, they control the infrastructure for the water. There's no way for them to have their own water and electricity. The civilians, they can't do that. They're occupied. And you're saying all of the civilians should have their water. It's crazy to suggest. No, Nux is saying it's crazy to suggest that you allow those civilians to maintain access to electricity and water because you're at war. It's crazy to suggest that is what Nux is claiming here. This is just some of the most absurd, like what even do you call that? I don't even know what to label this. Like, it's just fucking absurd. Full-throatedly, 10 toes down. It's insane to suggest that you allow a civilian population to maintain access to food, water, and electricity during a wartime. You have a despicable mindset. You are truly an ill person. Well, the lowest form of just careless, lead-brained degenerate. No, it's not even an intelligent form of, like, evil. Truly. I hesitate to even call it evil because I think it's calculated enough. It's like the most, like, low IQ hick type of, just fucking kill him. You know, it's, like, so wretched. It's, like, just disgusting. You are just a gross person who has no stake in the world, feels no buy into society or any accountability, and it's just totally fine to sign off on death because you just see it as far away from you and awesome.
Yeah, but you said that they were doing that. That's why I said I don't believe you.
They were. They were.
Wait, when? During the war?
Yes, it said since October 2020. 4, did it say on your chat GPT?
No, it's saying since October 2023. Or oh wait.
It's like there's one thing where if you treat this stuff with levity, that's fine. Like I'm fine with that. Like I treat everything with levity. Make jokes, whatever. Nux is displaying here that his mindset towards this conflict is that it's actually an insane ask of Israel to continue supplying Gaza with water and electricity, but they do it anyway because they're just that nice. That's how he views the world. He has just displayed fully that I look into this man's soul. Straight up, you can't see his face. He'll never show his fat fucking face, but he'll show the depths of his soul like this.
No, it's saying since October 2023. Or oh wait. Oh, they were doing it.
Yes.
Okay, I got
At
you.
one point after.
In March 2025 they stopped giving.
Oh,
power.
okay, all right. So in March 2025, which by the way is already about how many months into the war? A year and a half into the war. That's when they started strategically turning off power and stuff like that.
Right.
And also, you should recognize Hamas turned water pipes into missiles. They dug up water pipes and infrastructure in Gaza.
So you should shut off their water then.
Water pipes.
Well, no water anymore then. Sorry, civilians.
And
Dude, what are we saying here?
They also
what's your point?
Harbored most of the humanitarian aid that came into Gaza was used by Hamas. Hamas took them over. They didn't give out a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like it's the cookie rockets shit. It's just like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, it's like you can literally grant the point. Grant the point. Okay, you can grant it. I think it's retarded, and I don't know that it's true anyway. But grant the point. They turn water pipes into rockets. Okay, so what's the solution then? Not give them water? Are you fucking retarded? Are you insane? That's not an option, retard. You don't get to deprive a whole civilian population of water because of that.
In fact, if you look at the leaders of Hamas, they're billionaires.
Right. Well, I mean, so is Nancy Pelosi. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I understand why
Nancy Pelosi's worth 200 million. Actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I
leaders are richer.
Yeah. I was confused why you were saying like
I forget who Destiny was debating when he said the cookie rocket stuff, but it was on that the Breaking Points or whatever show. It was on that.
Yeah, of course they cut off water and electricity to their enemies. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I thought you were arguing that they didn't do that, but it looks like what you're saying is they did for a while. They gave it to them for a while, and then it got stopped, right?
Oh.
Yeah, but why would if they're doing
no,
yeah.
I'm saying like it's like what, like obviously things have gotten worse. I mean, March is very recently. Things have gotten worse, obviously. So
I'm not saying that this is justified of Israel to do. I'm saying that this proves it's not a genocide.
That they had provided them with those resources.
They cut off aid and then they cut off the utilities as well. Like, this isn't a good argument. I'm not arguing firmly it is a genocide, but Nux's argument is insane.
They're giving food and electricity supposedly to people that genocide.
I can't stand them.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't mind Sam Cedar, but his show was measurably better before Emma Vigeland joined.
Yeah, and they only recently yanked it. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Sorry, we got very sidetracked, but I think this is educational. Like, I'm learning about this conflict, and like, obviously, you know, I prefer to hear it from somebody who I know rather than like, you know, a mainstream news outlet or whatever. My news is okay. If it's not Asmongold, I don't trust it. Okay.
Nux has said this in a video before. I don't know if Acheeto is referencing Nux's video. I don't think he is. I think he's just unironically saying this, unfortunately. But you're joshing. Okay, this is a joke. Okay. Nux has literally, unironically, full-throatedly said this in a video before. He has said he gets his news from his YouTube homepage from Asmongold. and said he means that. So it's funny that Acheeto here says as a joke. And you can tell he does too, because he only cites his own videos and Twitter. And then when he covers stuff on his stream, it is always just like YouTube Asmongold slop. So it is absolutely, it's just so true. It's provable basically from just like his engagement.
True, base.
But anyway, so continue with okay, so Hassan is lying about which of the following things that you've just informed me about, right?
Well, the genocide part, I guess, but that one's contested.
Well, I guess
so I
it's
don't even blame him for
subjective,
that
right?
one.
I mean, I guess I think it's more about how you define genocide, and right, and like how you relate that to what's happening, right?
Yeah, no, that one's contested. So I don't fault him for that one. Absolutely not.
Okay.
There are arguments to be made on all sides, even though I
Right.
personally one side is more accurate than the other side.
Sure. I think I also do think it's like the way in which he uses it to like deflect all criticism is so fucking babyish.
True. It's how can you criticize me when there's a
But,
genocide?
yeah,
happening?
literally, it's like how am I the problem when Israel's the problem? It's like, bro.
I agree with this, that Hassan and his crowd do basically use the moralization of the issue to say that you can't criticize them. And that is their in-group rule as well, is don't criticize inwards. I think there is also a point to be made about someone like Ethan, who claims to think there's a genocide going on, yet dedicates all of his content to shitting on pro-Palestine people. That's like when you're only if you believe there's a genocide and your only engagement is shitting on the people who are speaking out against it, whether the reasons are legitimate or not, then that seems strange to me. It seems like you're having an effect in the opposite direction of what you should think you should be having. Now, also, Ethan absolutely pulls out the anti-Semitism thing, shut down criticism too. So this is a both sides, but Ethan's position makes less sense to me. Because Hassan's positions and his community's positions make sense with their political views. Ethan's stated political views don't make sense with his actions.
Bruh. It's like, okay, bro.
Yeah, it's been like, and again, if you really wanted to look at the problem, this war started because Hamas are terrorists.
Right. Well, okay, yeah, October 7th, sure. That's what was the escalation. I mean, people were saying this has been happening for a while, though, to be honest. Right.
So, do you want to go
Actually,
back
you know
20 years
what?
of history?
You know what? Let's fucking do it, because I keep hearing about
God.
October
I don't
7th, right? Or don't go. Just explain to me why October 7th happened, right? Obviously, you can't explain why a group of people would, rape and kill a group of people. Like, that's irrational. That's primal. However, obviously, as a group, there was something that caused that, I would assume, right? So what was the thing that caused it? Just make it quick if you can. I don't know.
You can't make the history of Israel Palestine quick.
Okay, sure.
Like I don't
mean,
know
if you don't want to get into it, we don't have to be honest.
All right, so there were you ever read the Bible?
Yeah, listen, it does make sense if you take it as just personal grievance, right? But Ethan doesn't just claim it to be personal grievance, and he would look absurd saying, yeah, I care about my personal grievance more than I care about dying Palestinians. He would look absurd owning that position, so he won't own it.
Bible?
I actually have not. I know a lot of Bible passages, but I've not read the Bible fully.
All right, so there was this guy by the name of King
I've read
David.
parts of it. I know
He was
King
the
David,
king
obviously.
of Israel. All right, so in Jerusalem right now, there still is the city of David from like 3,000 years ago. It's pretty old. So at some point, eventually, the Romans drove the Jews out of Israel. A lot of them. There were still Jews in Israel, but they drove the Jews out of Israel.
Okay, everyone's zoning out. Just like, what caused October 7th?
Back in Judea and Samaria.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
There's no way. There's just
back
no
in the
way.
ancient kingdom of Judea.
There's no way I could just say what caused it in a second.
Okay, but just real quick. There wasn't like a thing like IDF was like, or Israel did some shit, then they did this. You're thinking it's all this history you're saying?
No, it's because Israel became a country. They didn't want Israel to become a country. It's ever one of the wrong country that they were attacking.
That's all it was. That's all it was.
So in 1948, the British mandate.
So like he just jumped straight straight to 48. There wasn't anything in like the maybe 50 or so years before that could be like significantly relevant to the events that happened. No, okay, all right.
It made Israel a country because
It just jumped to 48. 48 is a good place to start. 48 is a good place to start.
The British mandate. So the British.
Yeah, King David, then 1948. That's those are the 2 points on the timeline for Nux. Dude.
Decided to make Israel a country.
Okay.
At that point, there were still majority Arabs in Israel. And then after 1948,
It goes. This is the timeline. Okay, this is the history of Israel Palestine. It's King David, 1948. Sorry, let's do it like this. King David, the Holocaust, 1948, and then October 7th. Okay, that's how it goes. That's the history of Israel Palestine.
a lot more Jews entered Israel to make Jews actually become a much stronger minority in the country. So
We're just skipping over the Nakba. Just let's not even think about the Nakba.
The Arabs in the area attacked, and the Jews won. So they actually ended up getting a country at that point. And so in 1967 there was another war.
No Nakba. No Nakba mention. We just missed that. 67 now. Skip it to 67. This is just brilliant, man. This is seriously so funny. This is why I say, again, I stole this from J-Stalk, I'll admit. If he was any better at this, you'd think he was getting paid. But he sucks at it.
Surrounding countries attacked, and Israel won another war, which pushed their borders out a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. And that is current Israel as we have it today, from 1967.
Okay, yeah. So their borders haven't changed since then.
The borders have been changed since then, and
They have.
as it stands, they have. A ton of the people that lived in that region before that time, in the Palestine region, were displaced.
Okay, here we go.
600,000 people or something.
800,000. 800,000. Hey, I feel like if someone got a number off by 200,000 on the other side, Nux might have a problem with that. He might say Hassan was lying when Hassan said that, in fact. I don't know if you guys think he would say that. I personally think he would probably say that.
Displaced from their homes over the course of these wars.
Over the course of these wars.
Anyway, since then, they are all saying,
wars where you blast sirens to drive people from their homes and poison wells and ravage through fucking this country, these villages, making them completely uninhabitable to the people that were there, and then never allowing them back.
Israel, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The river is the Jordan River. The sea is the Red Sea. They want to wipe out all the Jews in Israel, and they want to take back the land. So essentially, October 7th is just it was a gigantic terrorist attack that was done by people that wanted to kill all the Jews in Israel and take the land back.
Do you think that, like, when they say from the river to the sea, that...
Yeah, we just mentioned the 600,000 quote-unquote displacement. We just drop that in around 67. Don't elaborate any further. And just make it seem like the wars were fought with the Palestinians as well and not the Arab League.
They could be talking about the borders that have moved?
Nope.
No? Okay.
The full phrase is from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And, any Jew hiding behind any tree. It's the thing I told you before.
Oh,
any
okay.
Jew hiding behind any tree, the tree will say, there is a Jew behind me. Come kill the Jew.
Gotcha.
Right,
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Jesus, this is like the Vladimir Putin Tucker Carlson where he just gives like the in 1451. Okay, this is so much.
Jimbley, sure, drop it in the farm or something. I might watch that later. We might do that while I eat or something.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
you're Vladimir Putin. How does it feel?
It's great.
Okay. Okay. So then what else has Hassan lied about in this conflict?
Also, guys, I'm going to do a quick shill, okay? 367 people watching right now, 170 likes on the stream. Some of those 200 or so people wouldn't mind please moving their cursor thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing a thumbs up on your mobile device. that'd be hugely appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, you can donate directly through the stream elements link in the pinned chat message. You can also buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat, buy a super chat which will highlight your message and read out on TTS, or buy a super sticker which is a YouTube image or GIF to be highlighted in chat and I'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. You can also now watch on Twitch. We multi-stream there every day while we're on YouTube at twitch.tv/Kuihman. Also, guys, huge push right now to be active, okay? Be an active participant in content, all right, guys? So if you love drama, politics, whatever, talking about it, talking shit about it, you need to be out there on Twitter, on Reddit, posting like hell. Just in general, posting, link your stuff around, link it in my community, get people to see it. Post like hell. I know you'll post peacefully. And ABC, always be clipping. You can go to reddit.com/r/Kuihman to see an ABC, always be clipping guide. Okay, guys, very important stuff here. Bear this in mind constantly. That's my show. Okay, let's get back into this.
Because you've got to have more ammo, yeah?
Well, dude, it's so much, and I don't think I'll have time for... Well, so first of all, remember Hassan says that Gaza before October 7th. That's a phrase.
You cut out. What did you say? Gaza before October 7th?
Hassan said that Gaza before October 7th was a concentration camp, so they had to... That's like a big argument.
Dude, you cut it again. What the fuck? You said Gaza was a concentration camp? What did you say? You're like cutting out.
Hassan says that the reason why the October 7th attack was justified is because before October 7th, Gaza was a giant concentration camp.
I don't think Hassan says it was justified at all. I don't think Hassan says it was justified. But he says, I think the term that's usually used is open-air prison. I understand maybe it's concentration camp. It's quite an evocative term. I think that is kind of a politically used term. I'm not sure. I don't know whether it falls on the whatever definition of concentration camp would be. But I honestly don't know enough. But yeah, I don't think, even if he said it is, if he said something like, it's basically a concentration camp, that's not really a lie. That's a value judgment. It's an occupied, ghettoized territory. Like, I mean, if people want to use evocative language to describe that because of how fucked the conditions are there, I don't have, like, a massive problem with that. As long as you're able to actually substantiate what you mean. So I feel like Nux should take issue with actual statements of fact that Hassan has made about the conditions there, if he's going to take issue with this. Right? What is he using to substantiate the idea that it's akin to a concentration camp or an open-air prison or whatever? What factual basis is he using to get there? And is that substantive? Is his reasoning good? That's what I'd want to see interrogated here, not just, well, it's not technically a concentration camp. It's like, well, okay, sure. That's not really the point, is it?
Okay. For Jews?
For
Palestinians. Okay, gotcha.
For Palestinians. So this was Gaza before October 7th.
Dude, like, this is absurd. There's a beach.
This does not look like a concentration camp.
Right. It looks pretty chill, actually.
He wildly misrepresents the conditions there to justify the terrorist attack that took place.
Dude, this is literally doing... This is the... You know there are Nazis, Fuentes and people will do this. Where they show... They're like... You know... How could they really be concentration camps when there's swimming pools and all this shit? This is literally a talking point. This is like something that Holocaust revisionists do. This is not a good point at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that he does all the time. Anyway, another one that I personally think is
when did he wait? Sorry, real quick. When did he say that? Because that's crazy. How could you? Because if that video is right there and it's obvious that Gaza is not a concentration camp, then how does he get away with lying like that?
I don't know. He does. He says it all the time.
You just so this is worrying stuff. Really, is it? This should always be slightly concerning. Why does he get away with it? Why does not just Hassan, but lots of people say Hassan isn't the only one who compares it to a concentration camp. Hassan isn't the only one who calls it an open-air prison. Hassan gets away with it because lots of people think that. So why do lots of people think that, Nux? That's what you should be answering right now.
Really says it all the time.
Okay. And people believe him. Why do they believe him?
Because it's the project. It's the process. I think you don't understand something. People
I
aren't
probably
watching
don't.
Hassan. People aren't watching Hassan to broaden.
People
their
got a
political
concentration camp
perspective.
because they concentrated the whole population of Palestine into a small area, then closed it off.
Your new draft pick Acheeto is really like hollow brain here unless he pulls this back / argues back at this.
I appear in chat in a moment.
People are watching Hassan to essentially propagate the same propaganda that they want to push.
Okay. Gotcha.
Thank you for the $5.
Anyway, here's I'll show you this one. I have to show you this one, and then I'm gonna go.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Sorry to keep you here for so long, but yeah, it's actually interesting to me. I'm trying to.
So
learn.
yeah,
I mean,
this is what I come in on. So they're about to watch a video called "Another Journalist Killed by Israel" that Hassan uploaded, and this is about the killing of what's it? Is it Masam Shabbat? I think it was a Palestinian journalist who the IDF accused of being a sniper or a terrorist or whatever. Before killing him.
Damn.
Yeah. So this is my favorite one. Check this out. So this is titled "Another Journalist Killed by Israel." As you know, killing journalists is a war crime.
Yeah.
So
Israel killed 2 journalists yesterday. One of them is someone who I frequently talk to get updates. He was a contributor to Al Jazeera. I've talked about him before. His name is Hussam Shabbat. He was 23 years old. Israel had put him on a leaflet claiming that he was a terrorist alongside 5 other journalists a couple months prior, which was a death sentence. And I reached out to him at the time when I...
So anyway, this is an entire 10-minute eulogy.
So what Hassan is saying here, this is what's on the Wikipedia page. This is what is reported in mainstream outlets. As it's reported, I looked at this BBC reporting that says it basically the way Hassan says it here. What Hassan's doing is not out of line with the way this has been widely reported and the facts as they're known. Okay?
Of saying that this poor Hussam Shabbat journalist was killed. It's a war crime in Israel, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Well, that sounds sad. Well, what happened?
Incredibly sad. It really is incredibly sad. A war crime, right? He got this from Al Jazeera, a Qatar propaganda outlet. But anyway, so this is Hussam Shabbat, the guy in the press suit right here. But if you look at the list of
a fake press suit
fighters, this is Hussam Shabbat, a sniper for Hamas, and this was defined by Hamas. Hamas claims that.
So he's claiming, Nux is claiming right now, this came from Hamas. Hamas, as he says, Hamas. This came from Hamas. That's what he's claiming here.
He is a sniper for Hamas.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, so that was a big one when I saw that.
No fucking way. So he's saying that his buddy who was a journalist was a fucking terrorist sniper?
Yeah, so he
bro, what?
So I saw Acheeto buying this in the moment, and I had just I was like spurging out, you know when you just hear something's not true, and you're just like, oh, I'm losing my mind. This one I started typing in chat.
This one was wild. I love this one.
Why did we ever go any of? Why did we start to go, bro? Why did we spend so much time on the history when you had this in the back pocket the whole time? Hassan's buddy was a fucking sniper.
Happens.
What do you mean it happens? This is what everyone wanted. I'm sitting here like scratching my head thinking about the fucking history, and you have a literal brochure with this. Bro, come on. That's insane.
This is why you should watch the How Fucked Is Hassan Piker franchise on the NuxTaku channel.
Chat, is this real?
Wow.
Chat, is this real?
Please!
Chat, is this real?
All right, so this is that Hussam Shabbat guy. If you look at this, you will notice something.
Well, hold on. I mean, we'll pause real quick. I mean, look, whether or not he had to do this to, like, fight in the war, forget that. I'm more like, Hassan said this guy's a journalist.
A journalist friend of his, and Israel's committing war crimes.
That's what I'm saying. That's
okay.
the point.
literally, even if he was a terrorist, it's actually not untrue to call him a journalist. I understand if you say he's not a terrorist. Sorry, if you don't include the fact that he was accused of being a terrorist, then that might be misrepresenting the situation a little bit. However, it's actually not inaccurate. He was a journalist. He has articles published on Al Jazeera and other places. He is a journalist. He might also be a terrorist, but it's not inaccurate to call him a journalist at all. That is just true. It's just, you can go look.
Point, guys, is like Hassan said that the fucking sniper is a journalist. That's what I like. You can have an argument about the ethics of him being a sniper in a war period. Okay, forget that. This Hassan guy is lying.
My guy, my boy. It gets worse.
It does get worse.
Okay.
All right, let's get into it.
So this is that guy, right? The guy in the press suit. This is Hassan Shabbat.
Yeah.
Notice the date.
Oh my God!
So he posted this.
Oh
Entering
my
into Israel
God.
on October 7th. So
Dude.
this guy, Hassan
Holy
Shabbat,
shit!
is
Whoa, guys, the journalist took photos and videos. Oh, whoa!
part of the terrorists that started the war.
So now Nux is saying he was involved in the October 7th attack is now the allegation because he has video of it. He was involved. That is now the allegation Nux is going with, is he was a fighter on October 7th.
Get
Israel,
fucking bro. I don't want.
He's dead.
Oh
So
my
the guy's
God.
dead. Israel killed him because he's a terrorist, and Hassan gives him an entire eulogy as his friend, the press guy, who I can't believe my good friend, the press guy, was killed by Israel.
Bro,
it's such a war crime.
Chat, 1 in chat if you knew this, 2 in chat if you're just finding this out. This is fucking insane. Thank you for the $10. Oh my God. The Hassan is 100% serious will blow your mind if this is your reaction to this. Well, bro, they're 50 minutes each. I low-key have shit to do. But I mean,
they're long.
But
you see now why they're long.
Well, yeah, I mean, holy shit, people knew this. Some people, it looks like 50-50, so a lot of people didn't know this.
Well, anyone who says one watched my videos because no one else covered it.
That's insane.
Right.
Bro did his research.
I wonder why no one else covered it.
Okay, continue.
Must be because Nux is just so smart. He figured this one out.
That guy's a terrorist. Yeah.
Well, especially if he was part of the October 7th attacks, then he is like literally fucking.
Yeah, he is part of the October 7th attack.
That's crazy, bro.
Apparently, or at least he videoed them going in.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
What else was there?
Yeah. Well, that's what I got for this one.
Okay. Well, what else did he say? Wait, you played 9 seconds of it. We'll play more of it, though.
Well,
because...
Okay, we watched this whole video.
Got him before. His name is...
Wait, what's happened there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But anyway. Apparently, or at least he the October 7th attack.
That's crazy, bro.
Apparently, or at least he
so yeah,
no.
I'm typing in chat. So this is what I mean earlier.
Crazy, bro.
I don't wanna be delusional and act like, you know, Nux is getting rattled by me if he wasn't. Okay, I don't want to be delusional about it. I'm typing in chat at this point. At some point during this last minute or so is when my first chat message started going in.
He is like literally fucking.
Yeah, he is part of the October 7th attack.
That's crazy, bro.
Apparently, or at least he videoed them going in.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
There's something... I don't want to read into it too much.
What else was there?
Yeah. Well, that's what I got for this one.
Okay. Well, what else did he say? Wait, you played 9 seconds of it. We'll play more of it, though.
Well,
because...
Okay, we watched this whole video.
Got him before. His name is Hassan Shabbat. He was 23
He's brought
years
my
old.
tweets up in a video before, and he was like... I can't remember what he said, but he said I was like the range haters or some fucking stupid shit like that. So this guy's absolutely saying that I make fucking hate content on him. He's saying that I'm out here, that I can't fucking stand this guy. So he's got to be reading the Cheetos chat.
Israel had put him on a leaflet claiming that he...
Sorry, someone in chat said Israel accused him of being Hamas with no verifiable...
Okay, thank you, Klungo, for the $10.
NuxTaku, Big FT.
Yes, I don't know. He took photos of the October 7th attack. He took photos of people entering into the country before they entered the country. right?
Could you go back to that thing that showed that he's a sniper? What is this exactly? Who is this? Because is this like who's
Good question.
This is a list of operatives in Company 1 of the Beit Hanun Battalion.
And so what file? Like who made this basically?
So I assume Israel put this together.
Do you notice that? How it suddenly switched? How a moment ago, this was claimed by Hamas. Now, I assume Israel put this together. Interesting little change there.
But Israel got these charts, I'm pretty sure, from what they actually found from Hamas. There were a lot of Hamas
right, because he
defectors.
died, and they figured him out, right?
No, this was long before he died.
Wait,
this
what?
was they mentioned before he died. Like Hassan actually says this. Listen.
He was a terrorist alongside 5 other journalists.
Right. So the IDF claims uncovered documents prove 6 Al Jazeera journalists are terrorists. And that includes the Hassam Shabbat guy.
Okay, interesting. What Hassan?
A couple months prior, which was.
Sorry, someone am I testing what Hassan is saying is true, and it's what his Wikipedia says too. What does Wikipedia say? Sorry, I'm just trying to, like look at everything. But continue. I want to hear how he's. Well, because I mean,
death sentence, and I reached out to him at the time when I saw that, and he did not seem discouraged. He was steadfast, and till the very last breath, he was trying to put the word out about what was happening to his people, what was happening to the Palestinians. Dylan Saba had a really good statement on this, and I want to read it. He said, Hassam was 23 years old. At age 7, he saw Israel's ground invasion of Gaza that killed 1,400 Palestinians. At age 10, a major air assault. At age 11, another ground invasion that killed 2,200. At age 19, another massive bombing campaign. And at age 22, the start of this Holocaust. He faced a genocide his entire life as the world conspired to forget and erase his existence and those of his people. We will never erase the moral stain of this horror. Israel is deliberately targeting the last couple of journalists that are basically alive in Gaza at this point. One of his last messages that he ever posted was actually about his colleague.
I cannot stand Hassan's combination of low-res voice and pensive delivery here. It is like Lex Friedman level.
That Israel had assassinated a couple moments prior, like an hour prior to his own assassination. These are real human beings. They have dreams. Hassam himself became a journalist.
I kind of get where the point is. But
it's a whole eulogy. That was the point.
Yeah. I guess like a lot of people in chat are saying that because like the screenshot you showed me is like from Israel, that it's kind of like mixed. They can't really verify it. And then someone was saying it's on Wikipedia that he's not a sniper. I forget the guy who said that, but I have to look into it. What do you think?
Not quite what I said, but it's not on Wikipedia. He's not a sniper. It's on Wikipedia. He was baselessly accused by Israel. He was there was not evidence given to substantiate that he was a sniper.
Okay, I'd love to see that. If you could show it to me, I'd love to see it. That would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you're still in chat, but the guy who said, "Look at the Wikipedia." Can you show me the Wikipedia?
Apparently, he has a military ID number from 2019 training in Hamas battalions.
What's his name?
Hassam Shabbat.
Oh, Hassam Basel Abdul Shabbat.
I would love to see though. I would correct it for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have the Wikipedia. Okay, so it says okay, nothing's showing. Okay, Hassam Shabbat was a Palestinian journalist. Oh, this one's saying journalist too. Okay, who reported on the Gaza war as a correspondent.
He was definitely a journalist. The question is if he was also a terrorist.
Right. So legit, look how it's changed. Saying he wasn't a journalist before. Hassan was lying, calling him a journalist. Now, well, he was a journalist too. Dude, this guy is so transparent. It's so fucking crazy.
Well, it's like saying Hitler was a painter, right? Okay. Shabbat was killed by an Israeli airstrike after Israel ended the ceasefire in January 2025. Oh, I thought he died on October 7th. Okay, by resuming airstrikes in Gaza.
He was videoing the attack on October.
Okay. Shabbat, another Palestinian journalist, Mohammed Mansour, was also killed by the Israeli military. Witness. Okay. Where's the October 7th stuff? Let's check out the death. The IDF had previously threatened Hassam on the 23rd of October, 2024, and accused 6 journalists, including Hassam, of being members of Hamas. Hassam denied any involvement, and also stated these were clear death threats that they served as an excuse to preemptively justify killing him. Interesting. On the following day, the IDF confirmed that they had deliberately targeted Shabbat, stating that during the war, Shabbat carried out attacks and participated in terrorist activities against the IDF. So this is just like a he said, she said, isn't it?
Yeah, except...
Oh, wait, the IDF provided no evidence to support the claim that Shabbat had attacked the IDF, troops, or Israeli citizens. So basically, like, is there proof that he is a terrorist?
How is this guy still alive? I usually go for another 2 hours on Kick. Yeah, so I'm still not even at the end.
Not. Like, the proof that you showed me is like, interesting, that they classified him as a sniper. But, like, is it true, though, is kind of what I'm getting at.
I guess you don't know. I guess I don't know. In a war, you never know.
Okay, well...
Dude, you know that he was...
But Hassan was lying. Dude.
Taking these images of them actually entering Israel on October 7th.
Right.
I mean... This was a surprise terrorist attack. You do know that even if maybe they didn't provide proof that he actually attacked specific people, you do know for a fact that he does have a military ID number from the Hamas battalion of 2019.
How do we know that? Where's that? That's not verified.
From what I understand, according to this Wikipedia article, they don't have is that he directly attacked troops or civilians. That they didn't provide.
Well, I feel like that's the most important part.
Well, if you're part of a terrorist organization and they get you, I think that that's valid, personally.
Well, I don't think so. Like, even if I'm part of, like, a terrorist group, like, whether or not I actually do terrorism matters. You know?
Well, maybe you didn't do terrorism yet. You're arguing that only terrorists that have already killed people should be targeted?
I think so.
In a war?
Well, I think that's what makes you a terrorist, is doing the terrorism. I don't know if necessarily being part...
is trying to do the terrorism.
There's nothing on the Wikipedia page about a military ID number. Literally, it is nowhere. Not on the Wikipedia page. It's totally unverified claim. Just shit Israel said. Totally unverified. It's so crazy, man. He's such a dishonest wretch.
He was trying to, do we? I guess what I'm trying to say.
Videoing them going in on October 7th.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, what I'm trying to understand is, like, I guess, like, how do we know that Hassan is, like, lying versus, like, the Israel's lying?
Yeah, exactly right. This is the point I have been making recently. I think this is a compelling point. Hamas has an agriculture minister. I understand it's war. Ultimately, they're Hamas. I get it. But just think how you would feel about that from the other side. What sort of response would you have if, say, Israel's agriculture minister, if they have one, was blown apart in an airstrike right now? What would your response be to that versus Hamas?
Because, like, isn't this kind of a he said, she said?
I suppose it is a he said, she said. But I also suppose that Hassan giving the of my good friend the terrorist was killed as a war crime without giving context that the guy is probably a terrorist is kind of wild.
Dude, probably a terrorist now.
But I mean,
probably a terrorist.
Probably a terrorist. Like,
I don't understand. This October 7th attack is one of the worst terrorist attack ever. Right?
Yeah. So, 100%. No, I'm not justifying. I think this is terrible. I'm just trying to understand if this specific person was part of it, right? Because you showed me the thing that said he was registered as a sniper. And I will say, the fact that he was profiled before as a sniper is kind of like, well, how did they catch him before as a sniper, right? I mean, because if he'd already been, I'm saying,
no, they just Israel's accused.
Exactly.
Nux is just like slipped the lie through here.
Exactly. I'm saying if he was in the database already, that's kind of sus, right? That's what I'm saying. But I also don't know if what you're showing me is like proof that he carried out terrorism on October 7th.
Okay.
Well, I'm just trying to
You
I'm
don't
not
want to make
trying
an
to
argument,
argue with
Nux?
you.
No?
I'm just trying to like...
You're less confident in less confident in asserting things now, I guess.
Please argue.
Interesting.
I don't mind if you argue with me.
Well, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. I mean, like, is there anything else that shows that he did like terrorism?
I would suggest you watch my video then, because I made this video like 6 months.
Oh,
yeah.
You have to watch his you have to watch his hour-long piece of reaction content from 6 months ago, guys.
Hearing reports that this guy was one of the dudes that paraglided in on a Mario Kart just throwing Koopa shells and banana peels at festival goers.
Thank you for the $5, Jimberly. I disavow that frankly despicable, just humorous representation of the October 7th attacks. That's quite despicable, actually. I disavow it completely. But thank you for the $5, Jimmy. That is hugely appreciated.
I'll definitely go watch it. Okay, can you link it to me?
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
Dope. I mean, look, like, all I'm saying is, like, look, he definitely lied about a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, 100%. Like, you showed me stuff that he lied about. Like, the circumstantial evidence stuff, lied about that, you know? There's something earlier you also said, and then he completely lied about this. This one
is that a Nick Mullen
I'm just trying to make sure... I don't know if he lied. If you're saying it's a he said, she said, well, then I can't definitively say that he lied about it, you know?
That's fair, for sure.
Gotcha. All right, well...
I think it's... Oh, God, it's an hour long.
I'll watch it.
I think it's this one. I'll send it to People that value... that.
Yeah, link it to me. I'll watch it.
I'm pretty sure it's this one. I could be wrong. I titled the videos terribly, so not exactly super helpful, but I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Yeah. Hassan is 320% fucked now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll watch this. Well, I mean, look, I know this was like totally random. I'm sorry for fucking dragging you here for so long. I'm genuinely trying to
problem.
look. I mean this when I say, like, and this isn't bullshit. I'm not like pleading ignorance to like pretend that I don't know something to like whatever. I literally, and I mean this, like most of my life I spend either playing video games or live streaming like, you know, fucking content. So I actually I don't watch the news. I watch Asmongold, I watch you. I don't know specifically the ongoing conflict with Israel and Palestine. And so if I ask a lot of questions, maybe I ask too many questions. I'm not trying to bug you. You know, it's not your job to, it's not your job to educate me. It's not your job to...
The thing is, I'm not... The problem is with criticizing Hassan and pointing out lies and stuff is very often I think a lot of people would just say, oh, I guess Nux supports the entire attack and every single...
I would cheat on whether a Kuihman versus Nux fight is a truth, so he can sound like great content dude. I would
every
go crazy
person that was killed, and that is obviously not true.
There's no... I don't think Nux would ever do that, though. There's like no chance.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I think
support
that's
killing the terrorists, I guess.
I mean, I think anyone who's making a generalization about your beliefs is probably just, you know, doing that. Like, I think that's bad faith. But
okay, so I just opened Twitter and typed in Hassan. Apparently this
What's
is
up?
Hassan Shabbat.
Yeah, he just like literally. This is how he does research. It's like, quick, I need to go on Twitter and find the evidence. This guy's a terrorist.
Oh shit! Okay, what is this?
Maybe if I find enough pictures on Twitter, I'll prove that he's a terrorist.
Hassan Shabbat.
On October 23rd, the IDF publicly warned that Hassan Shabbat wasn't just a journalist; he was a confirmed Hamas operative. Despite the exposure, this journalist saying,
I don't know if this is a picture of a dead body or something. So I'm just
gonna bro, I mean, you stayed fucking way.
But yeah, basically, there's a picture of him with people carrying a dead body, and he's like, okay, well, he's a terrorist. It's like, okay.
Way longer than you had to. I mean, I really appreciate... Guys, thank you. I mean, I'll link your channel in the chat, obviously. Bro, thank you so much for fucking joining me. Like, I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, and then the other one he does is...
The thing that you...
The guy's wearing the scarf.
Bro, I mean,
he's wearing the scarf. So he's a terrorist.
Stayed fucking way longer than you had to. I mean, I really appreciate... Guys, thank you. I mean, I'll link your channel in the chat, obviously. Bro, thank you so much for fucking joining me. Like, I really appreciate this. This is, like, really fucking important. I think a lot of people will learn. I think a lot of people, like, appreciated you coming on. And dude,
I did.
Seriously, thank
I
you
appreciate
for taking the time.
this.
Like, actually. And we can do this again. Like, what we'll do... Next time, I'll actually structure it so we're not going like fucking all over the place. It'll actually be
hell yeah.
It'll be better. It'll be better.
Sounds good.
And we'll
sorry. Sorry, I'm dipping, but
No,
this was
dude,
end
you're
up
good.
going
You're
forever, and
you're good.
I told you before that I would only be joining for 10 seconds.
Of course, bro. Yeah. Have a great day or night. I don't know what time it is for you, but appreciate it, bro.
Gotta get out of here.
Cheers.
Wow. That's the end of that.